there does not appear to be an empty seat in the house. I don't believe you could cram another soul in the infield here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. In only 30 years, this event has become an institution. Hello, everyone. I'm Ken Squire, and welcome to the 30th annual Coca-Cola 600 from the mile-and-a-half Charlotte Motor Speedway. Down below me, 42 drivers are at the ready to battle for some $800,000 today in the race that has created the legends and the heroes of this sport of stock car racing. You think back to Petty and Pearson, Lorenzen and Allison, to those great battles with Yarborough and Baker. Only one of those names is in the field today. 51-year-old Richard Petty, in his 27th appearance, has qualified in 11th place. But there are new names in the front row. A new era of motorsports has taken over, trying to become the legends and heroes of this sport. A man who has seen them all is here beside me once again for all 600 exciting miles, Johnny Hayes.
Ken, Charlotte's a special place to me. When I was a senior in high school 30 years ago, me and some friends from Belmont, North Carolina, climbed the fence in turn one, so we were not part of the official attendance that day. I felt bad about it, but we did get to see a great race. Let me tell you something about Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is not just another race. This is institution time. You win this race, you become legendary. And I think if you watch this close today, that 100 miles, that last 100 miles makes or breaks you.
170,000 people have gathered to see the new legends and heroes of stock car racing as they battle with a four-time champion Darrell Waltrip and all the rest of the Winston Cup stars. At the STP Pit Center for today's broadcast, a new voice. Welcome, Mike Joy.
Thank you, Ken. This race is certainly the biggest of those remaining on the Winston Cup Tour for this season. This big crowd and huge payoff. One man with purse and bonus money today. Alan Kulwicki, the pole sitter, can knock down a new NASCAR all-time single-day record, $215,000. But this race is about so much more than money. And here in the STP Pit Communication Center, we'll be keeping the pulse of the folks to whom this race means the most. The pit crews for nearly all 42 teams are based within a stone's throw of this speedway, several miles. And today's thunder in the Carolinas will reverberate throughout this region for months to come. It's about hometown turf, and it's about bragging rights. Let's catch up with the gentleman who will be on pit patrol for us today, and we'll start on the front row with Steve Burns.
We have the fabulous Thunderbirds here on the front row. Alan Kulwicki, as Mike mentioned, a lot of bonus money up for grabs. If Alan can win from the pole, he'll take home an extra $60,800. But, Alan, it's a long day.
It certainly is. You know, the key is going to be to try to run a smart race and stay out of trouble. Have a car that's 100% in operating condition for the last 50 miles. You know, an engine that hasn't dropped a cylinder, make sure you haven't knocked your front end out of line or crashed your fenders and ruined the aerodynamics. You got to be 100% the last 50 miles and then go for it.
The other fabulous Thunderbird belongs to Mark Martin. He's been consistent during the month of May. He sat on the pole yesterday for the Busch Grand National race.
And now, with the undercard out of the way, it's time to meet the two principal protagonists in today's main event. From Franklin, Tennessee, wearing the white and orange, a three-time national title holder, who, after the last encounter with his arch rival, wound up on the grass. Racing's most famous bumpy, determined Darrell Waltrip, and squaring off against him in the white and green, master of the $200,000 body slam, winner of the last encounter between these two tigers of the track, the toughest street fighter the River City of St. Louis has ever produced, the challenger, Roughhouse Rusty Wallace. Step with me now while we meet these two heavyweights of horsepower. Rusty, what's on your mind before the start?
Just beat this whole field and beat them hard. That's what I want to do.
All right, and now we'll move up to Mr. Waltrip, whose car is starting directly in front of him and whose dimple in the back fender has been kept as a reminder of what happened 1 week ago. Determined Darrell, what is on your mind?
Well, the thing that we want to do is win this race, Chris, and you know, we feel like if the car runs all day and we don't have any get any rust on the side of it, we're going to be okay.
You're going to be watching the mirror. The green and white car is right here.
Well, you know, the start, we'll let him do whatever he wants. If he wants to go on, that'll be okay. It's the finish we're worried about.
All right, there you have it from the two principal men in the race. And now back to you, Ken Squire.
He indeed is apt to lie back in the manger until the last 100 miles, and then we're very apt to see Waltrip win it. The general consensus is among the press here today, and our old friend Bobby Allison, with whom we spoke this morning over in the condominiums, is that Waltrip is going to be very, very hard to beat today. But 41 others really want that honor of pulling into victory lane at Charlotte. And we'll be back with our 18-camera coverage of the Coca-Cola 600 from Charlotte following these messages.
Hey, George! Where we're just minutes away from the start of the Coca-Cola 600. This is a very unique racetrack in distance and in configuration. The man who found his way around here fastest on pole day, Alan Kulwicki, takes us around one lap at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Here we are in the first turn. You can see the car in front of us bobbling around a little bit. You want to get your tires down as close to the white line as you can when the car's handling well. Drift out to the wall as you go down the backstretch, through most of the backstretch, out near the wall, down low going into 3. How low you can stay in that turn depends on how well your tires stick. As you can see, this front straightaway is not nearly as straight as it might look from the grandstand. There's quite a bit of turn there. You try to straighten it out as much as possible, get out close to the wall going in the first turn, and once again, drop down as low as possible.
There's a description of the mile-and-a-half over which these competitors will be performing this afternoon for 400 laps in quest of $800,000. And more important here, and I mean more important, the honor of winning the Coca-Cola 600. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is the starting lineup for the 30th annual 600 at Charlotte. On the pole for the second time in 1989, it's Alan Kulwicki out of Greenville, Wisconsin. Starting beside him is the Ford of Mark Martin from Arkansas. Going to row 2 at Chevrolet's. Ken Schrader's there in number 25. And the 4-time winner of this event, Darrell Waltrip. In row 3 from Florida, Rick Wilson. And the winner of last week's Winston, Rusty Wallace. Row 4, it's Michael Waltrip from Owensboro, Kentucky. And from Taylorsville, North Carolina, number 33, Harry Gant. Row 5, Chesapeake, Virginia's Ricky Rudd. And alongside the Bud Moore car, driven by Brett Bodine. Row 6, the 2-time winner, qualifying 11th, Richard Petty. Outside of row 6, it's Terry Labonte from Texas. In row 7 comes Jeff Bodine from Chemung, New York. And the 1986 winner, Dale Earnhardt. In row 8, Bill Elliott from Dawsonville, Georgia, looking for his first 600 win. And the big surprise from Wisconsin, Dick Trickle. Row 9, from the Alabama gang, comes Davey Allison. And from Tennessee, number 94, Sterling Marlin. Buddy Baker's number 88 starts inside of row 10 with Greg Sachs at the controls. And outside of that row from Mississippi, number 83, Lake Speed. Going to row 11 for today's race. As you see them, they've been given the command to fire the engines. There you have second-generation driver Larry Pearson and Derek Cope of Spanaway, Washington. Row 12 is Morgan Shepherd and another second-generation driver, Dale Jarrett. For row 13 today, Neil Bonnet is there, a 2-time winner of the event, and Hut Strickland in his Pontiac. Going to row 14 from Midland, Texas, it's Bobby Hillen Jr., and from Coopersville, Michigan, Butch Miller. In row 15, Tracy Leslie, the ARCA star in the A.J. Foyt car, and Ben Hess in his Oldsmobile. Row 15 today is Phil Parsons, who crashed a day ago, and the car has been rebuilt since yesterday for him to run. Alan Grice from Australia starts on the outside of that row. Row 17 is Kyle Petty, and alongside from Alabama comes Jimmy Means. In row 18 today, the second Australian in the field, Terry Byers. He too crashed his car, and that's been rebuilt overnight. His Chevrolet starting on the inside of row 18, and Ernie Irvan is flanking him. Row 19 is Jerry O'Neill Chevrolet, and from Wisconsin comes Jim Sauter. For row 20, it's Chad Little from Spanaway, Washington, and from Texas, Eddie Bierschwale. In the provisional role, it's Rick Mast Chevrolet and Dave Marcus, originally out of Wausau, Wisconsin. completing our field. Field just about ready to be turned loose as you see the number 15 of Brett Bodine, the famed Bud Moore car from Spartanburg, South Carolina, and the Junior Johnson number 11, and the number 3, the Richard Childress car, pulls out. The fireworks go off in the air. We've had a tremendous air show with planes from World War I all the way to modern times over this mile-and-a-half facility, and now the flying will be done by these 3,500-pound cars. We'll be back for the start of the 30th annual Coca-Cola 600 from Charlotte after these messages. 100 drivers from 18 states, 2 drivers from Australia in this field who've been getting their licks in, trying to experience stock car racing American style to take back to their new great facility in Australia, the new Thunderdome. 13 Pontiacs, 8 Fords, 9 Chevrolets, 8 Oldsmobiles, and 4 Buicks comprise our field as they head into the back straightaway, where next time by it'll be over 170 miles per hour. Kowicki on the pole. There you are, one of our onboard cameras. Phil Parsons. And they've worked overnight. He crashed the car late yesterday in the final practice period, ready for a go. Phil Parsons, number 55.
Ken, interesting on that. Phil Parsons, they finished about 4 o'clock in the morning, and then had to be down here at 6 to have the car back in. So those boys worked all night. Their wives came up to feed them.
They were headed for a party, and they had the party till 4 in the morning.
All the other teams tried to help.
They're waving off the green. There will be one more provisional lap before the field is turned loose.
One of the NASCAR inspectors walked over to pick a can up off the front straightaway, so that's why the delay.
Darrell Waltrip is the defending champion of this event. As we mentioned, he is the only 4-time winner. This is the first time we've not seen Buddy Baker in this race, but his car, owned by Baker and Schiff, will be driven by Greg Sachs, who qualified on the pole for yesterday's 300-mile Grand National race, which is one of the best Grand National races we've seen in years, and was won by 21-year-old Robbie Moroso from Connecticut with an outstanding performance, moving around Rusty Wallace in the final 10 laps. Take it home. Alan Kowicki from Wisconsin, Greenfield, Wisconsin, on the pole, and beside him comes that young man from Arkansas, Mark Martin, in the Jack Roush Ford. See, the weather is absolutely letter perfect here today at Charlotte. 77 cool degrees, blue skies. The humidity is perfect, and one thing about this, what it has meant to the crew chiefs this morning is a lot of changing of springs and suspension on the cars. They expected it was going to be a great deal warmer. From the Speedway Club, folks looking on today. One of the more lavish ways to watch American stock car racing.
I think rich people enjoy racing, and I think those are the rich people living up there.
So John is fantasizing he can get in there.
I want to be rich like you someday, Ken.
We'll share a hot dog.
Well, let's go racing. Then we're getting ready to go.
Here we go, down for the start. Kowicki in the white number 7 on the point. Mark Martin beside him. Waltrip up on the outside of the second row. Kenny Schrader. The favorite today is Waltrip, but a lot of people are saying Schrader may have discovered something in the final practice yesterday that will make him strong. And we are under green, away for 400, grinding, grueling laps on this mile-and-a-half, 24-degree high bank track. Through turns 1 and 2, back straightaway. Kowicki is your leader. Second time this year he's come off the pole. He won the pole at Atlanta as well and took 3 pole positions a year ago. Won his first race in Phoenix, Arizona. Here he is out in front of Mark Martin. Both of these drivers cut their teeth in the Midwest of the United States in the American Speed Association. Waltrip lies third, and we expect that Waltrip will fade for a bit. We expect that Waltrip will slide back, but hang on, because in the last 100 miles, he usually makes a tremendous run.
Well, Ken, we got a real good, clean start. Everyone out here knows that this thing has to go. Oh, we got Richard Petty. He got tapped in the back on the backstretch by Earnhardt. He got it straightened out. We're still under green.
Richard Petty down the backstretch on the inside. He was tapped coming out of turn number 2. He's gathering it back up now. Wonder if he's cut a tire. Car number 75 goes up on the outside. Morgan Shepherd. Jarrett right with him, and he apparently has now found the groove again and is underway. Back with the leaders, and you see 2 Fords and then 2 Chevrolets with an Oldsmobile in 5th. They're deployed as follows. Kowicki is first, Martin in 2nd, Waltrip, the 4-time winner of the event, in 3rd. Maintaining the 4th position is Schrader. That's actually a team car to Waltrip, owned by Rick Hendrick, and Rick Wilson in car number 4, Oldsmobile is 5th. Wallace falls to 6th. As they come out of turn 4, it's Michael Waltrip in 7th, Harry Gant in 8th, Ricky Rudd 9th, Brett Bodine coming by in 10th, Terry Labonte 11th going to turn 1, with Jeff Bodine in 12th, Earnhardt 13th, and it's Elliott in 14th. Back straight away. Speed, wow, 167.4 miles an hour. Chalked him up for the Timex Award today. That's an incredible lap in there. Turn 2, a problem up in the corner. One car slithering into the wall and bouncing back down across the track. That's Jerry O'Neill out of Auburn, New York, in his first 600. And he has a tire down. Caution not coming out. Track is clear. He slapped the wall on the outside, came to the inside. Here you see him trying to make it back into the garage area to the pits. He's got a long way to go. Leaders come down out of turn number 2. Here you see Kulwicki out in front. In second, Martin. Waltrip pacing himself in third spot. And there's a battle for the lead. Down to the inside, Martin takes a look. Here he comes, challenging for the first time. Jack Roush has built cars for drag racing. He has had championships in all kinds of American sedan stock car racing. This is his first effort in stock car racing with this machine that you now see deployed in first place.
Jack Roush has put together a super race team, but I'll tell you, Mark Martin's an excellent race car driver, has been for years, and he came back on the NASCAR circuit, has qualified well, run well. If he can just make that car last for 600 miles, he certainly has a chance to win this event.
Martin pulling away now before some 170,000. Alan Grice of Australia has pitted and gone back to the track in car number 47. Grice going the lap down as they go into turn number 1. Let's take a look at the replay of what happened here in turn number 2. We thought might bring out a caution. There is that car up toward the wall, sliding, trying to gather it back up. O'Neill, the number 53. He was able to just barely keep it out of the wall. Nobody collected him, and we were able to stay green. We have 7 laps now complete. Race stabilizing as we expected in the early going. We'll have some updates on other events today. Here's the battle for third place. There are the 2 Rick Hendrick cars. Up in front, the Jeff Hammond crew chief, number 17. Right behind it comes that number 25, the Broom car, both out of Hendrick Racing Stables in Charlotte, North Carolina.
I think I'd like you to watch this. Kenny Schrader's a lot more aggressive and would want to lead as many laps. He wants to go to the front. Darrell's feeling on this sort of thing, hey, if your car's that much stronger, go to the front. Darrell Waltrip drives a speed. That speed's good enough to lead. He'll take it there. But watch Schrader. He will try to get by him.
Had an opportunity to share a cup of coffee this morning over in his condominium in turn number 1 with one of my heroes, Bobby Allison. I said, who do you pick for this race? He said, I'll tell you, I think Waltrip is going to be hard to beat. But he said, don't count Schrader up. Here's Schrader back to the inside. And interestingly enough, Tom Higgins, who's one of the best critics of motorsport in America, writes for the Charlotte Observer, said the identical same thing 2 hours later.
Well, one thing that's really helped Kenny Schrader is Suitcase Jake Elder has come on board, and that car is really picked up and running competitively.
Waltrip to the inside. Waltrip going for second. Number 17, bottom of the racetrack for second, and here Schrader takes a peek. Elects not to go through. Now comes Schrader. Fading a little up in 4 to the outside goes Kulwicki. Meanwhile, car number 33, Harry Gant, exploding up through the field. Gant having a terrific run, gets himself up into 7th position.
Kulwicki got real loose that time going through 1 and 2. You can see the 2 cars running side by side. Rick Wilson jumps up under him, and Harry Gant is coming on him fast.
The handle on that frying pan, car number 7, seems to be a little hot for Alan Kulwicki, and he falls back again as Rick Wilson is challenging in the yellow, number 4. Mark Martin is up in front. At one point, Mark Martin would have you know that whether or not he could win the race, he would tell us about that.
You always race as hard as you can and do the most that you can with what you have to work with. And you know, that'll be the case here. Rusty won the 500 from I don't know how many laps down last fall, and that's not common, but anything's possible.
Here it remains, Martin in first place. further back in the field. Look at this scramble. Wilson on the inside, Kowicki on the outside, as they go at it side by side for 4th position. And directly behind them is another strong contest. Here is number 33 challenging with 27 on the outside, Rusty Wallace. So you see 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th right there. Kowicki in number 4, rather number 7, Wilson in number 4, and he is in the 4th position. Change that. Give Kowicki in number 7 the 4th position and bring Rusty Wallace on a tear in the Pontiac up into 5th.
We noticed earlier Harry Gant just drove by no problem. Now the 27 car and the 4 car, 27 car, Rusty goes right back. Harry lets him go because he says, hey, it's 600 miles. So you have to think of that philosophy. You've got to take care of these cars.
Gant in the 33 has won the 500 run each October here in Charlotte. Has been a contender and 7 the pole in the 600, but has never taken it home. Meanwhile, up in that 2nd spot, the battle continues to get a little hefty. The leader continuing to pull away. There is car number 6, and look at this battle for 2nd between 2 Chevrolets. On the outside, number 17, Waltrip. On the inside, it's Schrader. The Hendrick car is getting very testy here in turn number 3. Down to the inside, Ken Schrader out of St. Louis. Beating off Franklin, Tennessee's Waltrip. Waltrip comes back on the inside. Waltrip ready to give it another go. Brings it to the high side, coming out of turn number 4. Down through the dogleg area of the 1.5 miles. Into the 24-degree banking of turn number 1 for 2nd place. Ken Schrader, who's driven everything. Midgets, sprint cars, modifieds, and Winston Cup automobiles, as well as the Grand National cars of NASCAR, and he's been successful in everything. He stays 2nd. Out in front, it remains a Ford Thunderbird. Mark Martin is there. Chevrolet running 2nd and 3rd in the early going.
The Communications Center is the chase for the True Value Hard Charger of the Race Award. This is a season-long competition. 5 points to the leader of each lap. 4 to the man running 2nd and down through 5th place. Here's how they stand, and the names are familiar ones. The ones you see at the front of the field are the point leaders thus far. We'll update that as the day goes on. Also, with our Timex Speed Track computer, we'll be looking for the fastest lap of the race. The driver who turns it gets a cash award, and his crew each gets a Timex Speed Track computer that automatically calculates lap times and converts it to average speed for that lap. Ken?
Thank you very much, Mike. Watching this battle back in 2nd place, I would say the fastest car out here right now is the number 94. That car has been flying. Sterling Marlin's car, running some incredible laps in the early going. Surprising how fast he's trying to bust through the field. And he currently is showing in the 11th position. His last lap was shown at a 165-mile-an-hour clocking around here. Mostly they take those speeds down, but car number 94 is willing to turn the wick up a little in the early going.
Well, Sterling won the Winston Invitational, so we knew he had a good car. He was also one of the fastest cars in the Winston, so he is running well at Charlotte and historically has run well at Charlotte.
Here's Carter. Let's go to Steve Byrne.
Guys, I just spoke with Billy Engel, one of the chief mechanics on the Xerox Thunderbird for Alan Kowicki. He says they have absolutely no problems. He's just trying to settle down, calm down, and run in a comfortable groove. Now let's go to Chris Economaki.
I'm here in the leader's pit. Jack, you got Mark out there at 167 miles an hour at 600 miles. Is that not a little too fast?
He says he's being real easy right now. We've challenged him to find out how his tires are doing. He says he's being real easy. He's not pushing it. So we were set up to pace ourselves for 600 miles if something doesn't break. But we're not abusing the car right now.
Okay, there you have it from the man that owns the car out front. Back to you, Ken.
They have sat on the pole this year for Mark Martin on 3 occasions. They've really had a good run going at Darlington, Bristol, and Talladega. They have yet to win. They finished 2nd at both the North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, and on the 2.6-mile Talladega, Alabama track. Here they are trying to stretch this car out in front. Mark Martin has fallen out of a couple of events this year and was outside of the front row when we commenced. See the interval between the Ford in 1st, Chevrolet 2nd and 3rd, Kowicki's Ford back into 4th, Wallace's Pontiac now in 5th, Harry Gant's Buick is showing 6th, and the Oldsmobile of Rick Wilson is in 7th place. Now 25 laps down. No caution experienced as yet. A couple of minor altercations in the early going. O'Neill spinning up in turn number 2, did not bring a caution out. Petty was drop kicked going down the back straightaway. He retrieved his Pontiac and kept on the pedal. Here you see the leader, number 6, Martin, striving to stay out in front of Schrader and a couple of hot dogs setting the pace right now, John.
Well, Ken, I just showed my expertise. I said they would take it fairly easy to get started in their running record time laps for this event. Neil Bonnet told me you can no longer drive this race like it was a 600-mile race or you'll get laps. You better run it like it's a 300-mile shootout. So everyone goes because that's just the way you have to do or you'll get laps.
For those of you who may be watching stock car racing for the first time here on the Superstation, we'll point out to you these are 3,500-pound cars, and as the day progresses, this track gets progressively more slippery. And when that happens, there'll be a lot of slip sliding away out here, a lot of skating. There you see part of that 170,000 throng gathered. That's right. And watching now, those two leaders a little further back in the pack. There you see the battle for 4th. That's Alan Kowicki, number 7, in the 4th position. And in 5th, number 27, Rusty Wallace. Ford against Pontiac. And right there's Harry Gant in the 33 Buick.
And those 3 cars are running comfortably there together, and they're probably maybe 2 seconds behind the leaders, but the cars are working well. You see the 7 car push up a little bit, and then you saw Rusty twitch a little bit, so the cars are not working perfect right now.
Watch the 27 as they go into turn 1. He's dipping below the line. Remember, it's a 24-degree banking, so when you cross the white stripe on the bottom of the racetrack, as they lap Alan Grice of Australia, there you see him in the 47. Brought all the way by Foster's to the United States to try to get more experience for that race at Thunderdome in Australia next December. Watch and see if Wallace again will tip down below that white line.
See the 7 car slide up.
And to the inside comes Wallace. He's able to stay off the line considerably that time. Gant staying with him bottom of the racetrack. You can draft a bit on this track. It works seemingly better with the Grand National cars, the V6s, that we saw in competition yesterday, than it does with the Winston Cup cars here. Full power on. Out of turn 2. Wallace pulling up to assume 4th position, and Harry Gant coming with him. Harry Gant to the bottom. Kowicki fights him off.
Let's see if Kowicki slides up again. His car's a little loose, and it has been gain on him a little bit. The car is sliding a little bit.
You see the smoke roll out of the back of number 7 there. I think that's tire smoke off the outside right rear of that Ford. And here comes Gant down to the inside, pressing. Harry Gant moving up a notch. He'll go to 5th. Kowicki falls to 6th. Car number 29, Dale Jarrett, the Cale Yarborough team on pit road. Meanwhile, up in front, here's how they're deployed. Martin first, about 12 car lengths over Schrader second. Waltrip in 3rd. Main straightaway coming by to complete 32 of 400 laps.
The number 40 car, Ben Hess, is coming down pit road. They're having tire trouble also.
Running for Rookie of the Year, Hess in the number 40 car. Meanwhile, front 3 evenly split up out there into the back straightaway. Waltrip stays in front. 1 week ago, the big altercation with 2 laps to go in the Winston that cost him $200,000. It's been a week since then. Darrell, what's been the reaction of your fans?
It's a great feeling to have people believe in you, support you, like you, want to see you do good, want to see you win, and stand behind you when you have something happen like happened this past Sunday. They don't, that encouragement of someone putting their arm around you that you don't even know, patting you on the back and saying, buddy, we got robbed. You had that race, and my wife and I are just sick. My whole family we all cried. Well, that makes you feel good, because you say, well, I'm glad to know that somebody else felt the same way I did.
Darrell said this past Tuesday, to be honest with you, I'm sorry it happened. It's forgotten in any unkind or rude things I might have said about Rusty Wallace. I take them all back. That's what racing does to you when there's that much pressure on the line. We came out here today saying it was just a page of the past. Do you believe that?
Do I believe it's a page of the past?
Yeah.
Well, I believe it's put behind them until the situation comes up again. And if it comes up again here, I think we could have the same kind of situation.
Battle for battle for 6th position. Alan Kowicki in the number 7. Then in 7th spot, Rick Wilson in the number 4. There's the battle. It's for 7th place. Number 4, Rick Wilson. Right with him comes Terry Labonte in the Junior Johnson car.
Ken, you're talking about Darrell Waltrip and about whether this thing is all over. And publicly, I agree it is. He and Rusty both say so. They kid about it a little nervously. But I talked with Richard Petty at length once about several of his 200 victories, and some of them were a little vague. But the races he lost and the ones he thought he should have won, he remembers like they all happened yesterday. I don't think the memory of this will fade from Darrell Waltrip. Looking at the line Waltrip's running, right down on the bottom of the racetrack in just picture perfect. He brings the car down and holds it low and tight right there against the white line, as Alan Kowicki told us you must do. Kowicki's car wouldn't do that, and when you leave that hole open on the low side, any and everybody can get on fast.
Waltrip seeking his 77th career win here today. Unprecedented if he pulls it off one more time here at Charlotte, trying to close up on Harry Gant. Gant started 8th. Harry Gant now running in 5th position. Back straightaway, 36 complete. Phil Parsons going a lap down. This is the car that had a blown engine yesterday and collected the wall. They worked till 4 this morning. And you're riding in the Crown Petroleum, number 55 of Phil Parsons here, getting a gander as he sees the main straightaway at Charlotte.
Well, when they had to fix the car, they had to put it to the very end of the field, so that puts you in jeopardy, and they didn't know how the car would drive, so they knew going up front they'd have to wait to a caution to try to get this thing straightened out.
Great picture as you watch car number 17 in 5th and number 7 in 6th bearing down and moving around the Parsons machine. Number 33 in the Jackson Racing stable, staying 4th. Harry Gant getting a bit of an interval here, and Kowicki is collecting Waltrip. He's gathered up some speed and coming back on it. Alan Kowicki down to the inside, approaching turn 1. 38 laps complete, working 39. Here comes Wilson also in the Oldsmobile at the bottom of the track. It's Waltrip fading as car number 7. Kowicki pulls up.
I think I wrote this book. Didn't I say early, Waltrip will lead early, he will fade, we'll forget he's in the race, then there'll be a caution with 50 laps to go. He's out, wins the race.
Labonte also pulling up through in the Junior Johnson Ford, looking very strong as Chad Little pits car number 90. Steve Byrne, what are they saying down there in the number 7 pits now?
Ken, we're headed that way right now. I'm going to try and talk with Billy Engel. He did settle back for a while. Billy, how's Alan running right now? What is he saying about the car?
It's right now it's just a little bit loose. We're waiting on his caution or pit stop, whatever, and we'll work on the problem and get her straightened out.
Thank you, Steve. We saw some of the folks in one of the suites, of which there's over 100 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, enjoying their day at the track. I tell you what, when I get to the track, though, I like to sit outright and really hear them go. A little too soundproof in there. Now here's the Buffett's doing pretty well today too.
Yeah, that's the way I like to watch racing. How would you like your baked potato, sour cream and butter? Oh, I love the rolls. They're fresh. That's neat. That is racing right there, buddy.
Yes. Meanwhile, the buffet being served up in front has Martin as the main course with Ken Schrader right there, Rusty Wallace in 3rd. Interesting mix of cars up in front. You have a Ford in front, a Chevrolet now in 2nd, a Pontiac in 3rd, a Buick in 4th, and an Oldsmobile back in the 6th position. Rick Wilson staying with the task. The leader continues to be Mark Martin with now 41 of 400 laps in the 30th annual Coca-Cola 600 complete. 46 laps in. Look at this battle. This is the one for 2nd place. Trying to contain Schrader on the inside is the Pontiac, and he touches him. Wallace putting the fender on Schrader, and coming right up is Harry Gant, who loves to mix it up. Harry Gant, with over 25 years experience, won over 400 races on American short tracks, lifts to the inside. There he is, just sneaking under. Schrader falling back, and up into the 2nd spot goes Wallace. Wallace in the 27 pulls himself to 2nd place. Harry Gant having the best run he has had thus far of the 10 races, going into the books for 1989. 9 complete. This is the 10th. Gant looking very strong. The other guy who's amazing me thus far is Terry Labonte in the Junior Johnson car. Of course, Junior won this race with Leroy Yarborough at the controls in 1969, and Junior himself set on the pole here in 1963 when Freddie Lorenzen was victorious. There's the leader, and there you see the interval between first and second as young Mark Martin, now living in Indiana, born in Arkansas, continues to lead the 600.
You'll notice there's a pretty big spread right now. That's because of the side-by-side racing. They will run Mark Martin back down, and Rusty and Harry seem to be about the fastest two things on the racetrack right now, so I wouldn't be surprised to see those two guys going together.
Let's get a word from the editor-publisher of the National Speed Sport News, Chris Economack.
Well, if the green flag stays out, the agility of the pit crews will be important to the winner of today's race. If it stays out, they're going to have to stop for fuel at about lap 65, and it'll be interesting to measure the intervals after that fuel stop compared to the intervals as they go in. Back to you, Jerry.
Chris, the fastest this race has been run was by Richard Petty when he won it in 1975, averaging 145.327 miles per hour. The tires have become better, engines better, but it's caution flags that make the difference in this one. And usually, before it's over, a lot of people get very tired and taste the concrete. There's your leader, number 6, Mark Martin. And deployed in second spot is Rusty Wallace in the number 27 Pontiac. And the margin between number 6 and number 27 continues to grow. There you see that difference between first and second place.
In a few laps, Mark Martin will be in a position where he's going to start lapping some good cars, so he's going to have to work this lap traffic, and that should give Rusty and Harry a chance to close in.
We asked Rusty Wallace what he disliked most about stock car racing. This is what he told us.
I hate qualifying, I hate practice, I hate all the pre-race stuff, all that stuff. I like to get in the car. If I gotta get in the car and get a couple practice laps. If I gotta qualify, get it qualified, and then let's line them up and let's race. I don't, when I get out here at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning to beat all the traffic, the race doesn't start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then you run 500 miles and you got to watch all kinds of pre-race stuff. That's great for the fans, but for me, it's just monotonous. And I just like to, I'm pumped up. I want to get here. When I get out of my passenger car and I walk in the Winston Cup garage, I feel like walking right in the truck, putting my uniform on and walking right in the race car and firing it up, lighting the motors off, and let's go.
He only had to wait until 12:45 today to run 600 miles. And of course, he ran a tremendous race yesterday and was run down at the finish by Robbie Moroso, a new name, one that is to be reckoned with in years to come. Moroso, just barely 21 years old. Here is the number 6 coming up on Larry Pearson's car, the son of three-time Winston Cup champion David Pearson. Martin beneath him, and now pulling up on Rick Nass in the banquet car, number 66.
Look who Mark Martin is wearing on his back bumper here.
Nass, that 6th-place finisher at Daytona this year, and that tremendous run he had in his first time in the big car in the big super speedway. First and second place, getting tight, and here comes third. Harry Gant is right in there. The Bandit looking good thus far, John.
Yes, Harry, historically he has run Charlotte well, and he was pumped this morning. He said, he and Leo talked and said, we're going to take care of the car, but let's try to stay with the leaders and take care of the motor all day. So I think everybody has the same philosophy. If they're racing so hard and going so fast, I don't think they're taking care of anything.
Let's just point out at this moment that with 55 laps down, Waltrip seems to have found where he wants to be, which is about 8. And back in 12th lies number 3, Dale Earnhardt. He, too, seems to be willing to play a waiting game in the early going. Wallace doesn't like to wait on anything. Here he is trying to run down Mark Martin.
Did you see the intensity in Wallace's eyes and voice, even in that discussion where you're talking to him in the back? He said, hey, I don't like pre-race, I don't like this. He's coming in. He must have a problem.
56 laps down. Here he is on pit road. Rusty Wallace has been running in second place.
Going to the right side.
Cleaning off the nose, trying to get any debris, any paper away.
It's one of the best pit crews in America right there.
Gary Dotson and
And you
company.
see the wait there was not for the tires. They were waiting to make sure they had it full of fuel to get the second tank in. It looked like the car was just sitting and they were gone. They wanted to make sure they got it full of fuel.
Chris Economaki has more.
Well, I'm down here at Rusty Wallace's pit. Now, that stop was a little bit earlier than it should have been. 65 laps is the kind of mileage. It may be that this pace is taking its toll on tires. We're going to try and get a word with Barry Dotson as to why the stop was made as early as it was. Barry, why did you stop so early?
Well, we didn't. The races we've had have had timeouts and stuff. We've really not had a good calculation on fuel. The car's fine, and if we stop early, it takes less time to get it full, plus we had the advantage of better tires for a few laps.
Okay, there you have it from the man. The first stop early for Rusty Wallace. Back to you, Ken.
Gant in number 6 staying up in front. Gant in second spot now. Now you see 6 is in. So that would put Gant into the lead.
I noticed
Martin on pit road. Harry Gant now takes first place.
Notice Dave Marcus was out of gas coming in, so they're not getting the mileage that they thought they would.
Been green all the way. Kulwicki would take the lead at this moment. Now Kulwicki pits. This was a rundown as of 50 laps. You know where your favorite is running. Here's a complete rundown as of several laps ago. Gant at Charlotte's had a fourth, a second, a fourth, and a second over the last, well, 86, 85, in the 80s, let's call it. 81 he had second, and 85 he had second. He's still looking to win it as you see him coming back on the track. Car number 33. Here's Steve Burns.
The crew chief on the Mark Martin car, he said Mark described the car as being neutral, which means it's in excellent shape. It's not pushing, it's not loose, right where they want to be.
Ken Schrader inherited first place. He held it for just about a lap, and now he is pitted. So most of the field has now been on pit road. I think Waltrip is now first. Number 17, Waltrip going back from 8th goes to first as they have these pit stops. Let's see what his range is. Yesterday he impressed us with his V6 machine as he ran further than anyone else. Kulwicki out there running behind him by a lap as 17 has yet to pit. Waltrip very apt to make these things into economy runs as he did in the 125-mile qualifying race at Daytona this year. He lets Kulwicki go by.
Well, Kulwicki has on fresh tires, and Ken, after this pit stop, it'll be interesting to see who runs well and who doesn't. There's a big division on what will go on these cars. Terry Labonte, Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt, and Bill Elliott will get stuffed tires that have a few laps on them. While Darrell Waltrip, Kulwicki, Harry Gant, and Brett Bodine will all take on sticker tires, brand new race tires. We'll see which works best here in a few laps.
As Jim Sauter takes number 31 back to the garage area. Waltrip, who won this race in 1984, we were mentioning Junior Johnson as a winner back in the 60s with Leroy Yarborough. Let's not forget that Waltrip won for him in 1984 as well. Continues to lead with 62 laps complete, and we're still under green. And the first gas period of the race is now taking place. Action is on pit road, and we're waiting on Waltrip.
Our Alan Kulwicki in the Ford, the pole sitter, has the fastest lap of the race. 32.25 seconds on the Timex speed track. It automatically calculates that at 167.39 miles per hour. In this long run of green flag racing, the pace slowed down to about 33 seconds flat, or 163 and a half. The speed track can be factored for any size racetrack and automatically give you the miles an hour along with the time. Race leader Darrell Waltrip has made his pit stop. Chris Economaki is there.
It said racing is a monkey see, monkey do business. Darrell Waltrip's crew chief, Jeff Hammond, said he wanted to go 65 laps. But then when all the other leaders started coming in, he brought him in at lap 62. He got a soapy windshield wash, fuel and right side tires, and Mike Timex said he was out for 13.91 seconds. But more importantly, Darrell was one of the last of the hot shots to stop, so he's building up a bit of a fuel advantage. Back to you, Ken.
After Waltrip pitted, Greg Sachs took first position momentarily. Following Sachs up in front, he came in, and Dick Trickle, who's my choice as a dark horse in this race, held the lead for a couple of laps, then he pitted. So now we're into 70 laps complete this time by. Here is that number 84, Dick Trickle, who has replaced Bobby Allison, then Mike Alexander in this car. That's the Stavola Brothers racing team. And, of course, he first came here years ago when they were trying to inspire more folks in the Mid-American belt to come to North Carolina to see this race, and the promoters brought him here back in 1973. But he's been an off-again, on-again. You can see he's a rookie from the yellow bumper in this race, the yellow rear bumper on number 84. He's 47 years old and has won over 1,000 stock car races in one of the most illustrious short-track careers in American stock car racing. Trickle in number 84. Here is Phil Parsons in car. Remember, he went a lap down as he had to start in the tail. They had to work on the car through the night, and he moved it from the garage area to take home to Denver, North Carolina, being lapped by Schrader in the number 25 right there. The latest update we have is showing 71 laps complete. NASCAR is reporting Harry Gant in first with Rusty Wallace in second and Mark Martin in third. That's Buick Pontiac Ford 1, 2, 3. Riding with Phil Parsons in this 600-mile escapade. And look who's coming along here. Car number 6. Martin scooting through traffic. Moving around Parsons in the 55. There you see him just going around Phil Parsons as they come down the main straightaway of this mile-and-a-half track. Back 5 degrees. Bank 5 right there. Now 24 degrees here in the first and second corner. Bobby Hillens, number 8, running just in front of number 6, Martin, currently in third place. As you get a lap and get a sense of this racetrack here, diving down into turn number 1, Phil Parsons, following that Ford Thunderbird.
Harry Gant's not only leading, he's driving away. They really have that car hooked up. You can see how low he's staying at the bottom of the racetrack. It's not that it's so much faster down the backstretch. They have that car working in the turns, and that's always Rusty Wallace's secret. You can get through those turns, you can win a lot of races and pull off.
Harry Gant has won some $3,600,000. Started here in Charlotte in 1974 in the 600. In front. And that team has had anything but good luck over the last 3 years. It's the Hal Needham team, as you'll recall. Burt Reynolds and Hal Needham had that car. It's now part of the Jackson Racing stable. Car number 33, Gant. A winner here in the fall race. What was it, 84? He won that 500? Great guy.
The other thing about Harry Gant, he felt like he embarrassed himself in the Winston, and they were going to come back here and show some folks, he and Leo Jackson both, that they had a good race car and they could run Charlotte. So they made a few changes, and they're proving it, I think.
There's the second place car, number 27. There's your interval between first and second. Gant beginning to draw a beat here. He's had a lot of misfortunes in this race. Had a bad crash here in 1980. And last year was involved in an incident as well that took him out of the event. Harry Gant continuing to lead, and at the moment, with the race stabilized, 75 laps complete of 400. Shows the way pretty strong. Here's that number 40, Ben Hess on the inside. Going a lap down. Hess running for Rookie of the Year honors. Great crowd out. The temperature is in the mid-70s today here in Charlotte, North Carolina. It is letter perfect for racing. And Gant continues to stay out in front. 1982. 82. Fast the years go by.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
People watching around this mile-and-a-half track from all these fine seats below us from the suites. And, of course, unique here are the condos. And up there is Bobby Allison watching his son Davey today. Spoke to Bobby this morning up there. I said, have you been down in the garage? Are you going down in the garage area this morning? He said, no, because I just kind of feel I might be in the way. I said, you've never been. He said, that's what Bill France said, I'd never been in the way. In fact, he said, if anybody told me while I was down there I was in the way, he said, Bill France told me to throw him out of NASCAR.
And he would.
Bobby Allison watching carefully as he did yesterday. He made the call on Moroso, too. He said, that kid is a comer, and he picked him to win yesterday. Gant stays about 25 car lengths in front of Rusty Wallace. Again, Martin was third, Terry Labonte now fourth, Kowicki fifth, Waltrip sixth, and Sterling Marlin is in seventh place with Rick Wilson eighth, Jeff Bodine ninth, Bill Elliott 10th, Davey Allison 11th, Brett Bodine 12th, Earnhardt back in 13th, and Lake Speed is in 14th. It's the front of the field. And still, it's a green flag run. If they stayed this way, we'd be in for a record today, John. Question about it.
Well, when a race stays green this long and you have pit stops involved, that's when if some of these good race cars can get lapped. You can see Harry Gant is gaining on some good cars. He's gaining on Ricky Rudd, which is one of the better cars, and Michael Waltrip, who qualified so well, is not that far in front of him. So a lot of these teams would love to have a caution to get a chance to readjust their cars and get everything balanced.
Harry Gant, who finished 4th here in 1986 between Earnhardt, Richmond, and Yarborough, now leading with 80 laps complete in the 600. Flying here around the Charlotte Motor Speedway with now 84 of the 400 laps complete. 126 miles are down, and they've all been green flagged to date. Gant out in front with a pretty hefty lead over Rusty Wallace in second, and Mark Martin stays third on the field. Let's go for a Goodyear racing update from around the country today to Bob Goodrich.
Thanks, Ken. You know, Charlotte isn't the only scene of big-time racing this weekend. Out in Indiana, the 70th running of the Indianapolis 500 is underway. Now, some exciting moments early on here. Kevin Kogan actually went into turn 4 a little bit hard, crashed off the wall, then back inside the car, as you can see, totally demolished. Fortunately, he was able to get up out of the car, walk away. He's been taken to the hospital, though, for some observation. As far as the leader, Emerson Fittipaldi dominating the race. Midway through 100 laps of the 200 completed, he is leading Michael Andretti. Now, the best drag racers in the world are enjoying a little Cajun cooking this weekend. They're down in Baton Rouge for the Cajun Nationals. Frank Cook out of Dallas, Texas, the top qualifier in Top Fuel. He's had a track record of 5.15 seconds. Meanwhile, Don Prudhomme, the man to beat in Funny Car, he also set a track record, 3.86 seconds. Kenny Bernstein, the number 4 man in Funny Car. Now, Kenny probably more concerned than anyone for race results this weekend. After all, he does have Jim Crawford driving for his team at Indy, and Ricky Rudd, of course, piloting his NASCAR entry here at Charlotte. Let's not forget the dirt trackers. They're up in Pennsylvania this weekend. Sammy Swindell, the winner of the World of Outlaws event last night at Williams Grove. Doug Wolfgang was second. Kenny Jacobs third. That race was on Friday night. Well, that's it for this Goodyear update. We'll be back with more from Indianapolis and more from around the country. But for right now, let's go back upstairs to Ken and Johnny.
Petty in the pits. Got a tire marker, too. Right side of his car. Good Goodyear update. We'll have more for you this afternoon. Jim Sauter has come back from the garage area and is moving back on the track. Sauter in number 31 is also coming back in. Richard Petty, twice a winner of this event, comes back on the track. Back with the leader, number 33, Harry Gant.
Harry Gant's been working Dick Trickle for 4 laps. He finally, Trickle pushed up a little bit, and Harry got by him, and now he's right behind Dale Jarrett in the 29 car.
Steve Burns, what about that last Gant pit stop?
They came in, they put on a set or 2 tires, right side scub tires. In other words, they've been run before. Crew chief Andy Peacher says it just works in better combination with the rest of the car.
Gant driving for the noted engine builder Leo Jackson this year, and that move seems to have paid off for 49-year-old Harry Gant, who wheeled himself to victory in the Trans-South 500 back in April at Darlington. That win, incidentally, ended that 90-race victory drought that had settled over Harry Gant in car number 33.
Harry's had a couple good chances to win this year that were taken out in wrecks, so he's been competitive all year.
Battle for fourth. Labonte in the junior Johnson Ford Thunderbird, and number 7 Kowicki, the pole sitter, going at it for 4th spot. We have Fords now, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, with General Motors, Buick, and Pontiac 1st and 2nd. That's Gant and Wallace 1 and 2. 91 laps complete, 136.5 miles, and if you're just joining us, they have all been green flag laps. Richard Petty on the very first lap was bumped. He was able to pick the car up. He's just made an extra pit stop. And the 1975-77 winner of this event is back on the track, circulating here on the mile and a half. Here you see Alan Kowicki ready to challenge. Hut Strickland has just made a pit stop and going back out.
We have a caution.
Caution is on. First time today, comes at 92 laps, 138 miles in, 308 laps to go.
The racetrack is clear. It must be for debris on the track. I can't see anything.
They're saying there's a wire on the track. Some wire has come off of car and is on the track, and they want it removed. There's the Oldsmobile safety car ready to move out and collect the field. With Gant first, Wallace second, Martin third, Terry Labonte fourth, Alan Kowicki fifth, Waltrip sixth, Sterling Marlin seventh, Wilson is in eighth, Bodine is in ninth. And how do you like the shrimp? Let's see if anyone's going out. Pit road is closed this time by. You see the man waving the flag, that red flag with the yellow crossing on it. That means that the pit road is closed. So as we review the field, you'll see that Mark Martin up in front maintains third spot. Sandwiched among those leaders is the car of Richard Leroy Trickle. He's just gone a lap down, I believe, only to Gant. Under caution for the first time today at lap 3 here in the Coca-Cola 600. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Peter, when we went to caution, let's find out how he fared on his pit stop with Chris Economaki.
Well, Mike, I'm in Rusty Wallace's pit here. He came in, he got 4 tires and fuel. He was in for 24 3/10 seconds, but importantly, there's a big stripe down the left side door of the car. He apparently has been up against somebody out on that racetrack. Back to you, Ken.
Coming by, Harry Gant stays on the point. You can see a bit of a stripe on the side of that car. Number 27, Wallace. Gant stays in the lead. Wallace now second. Kowicki third. Martin fourth. Bodine fifth. Jeff Bodine fifth. Darrell Waltrip seventh, and Bill Elliott being shown as eighth. They pick some debris off the track and get us set to go once again. Oldsmobile pace car has the field in tow up in turn number 2. 42 cars started and 42 cars remain in competition, better than 130 miles into the race. There you see the Petty car a lap down on the inside. On pit road right now is Dale Jarrett. Ricky Rudd is in. A lot of work going on the Ricky Rudd car. And also Alan Grice of Australia is on pit road.
Ken, for race fans that haven't been following NASCAR all season, this is a new procedure on caution flags, closing the entrance to pit lane until the pace car picks up the leader. There was some discussion in the drivers' meeting this morning. Some drivers wanted that pace car stationed at turn number 3, so a leader could take the caution, come around to the back stretch, get the pace car, and then get a quick jump onto pit road. NASCAR competition director Dick Beatty said no, the pace car will be down at turn number 1, and that gives the back markers a whole half a lap to catch up to the field, slow down under caution, and then everybody dives onto pit road together when they open it up.
Thanks, Mike. What else? Anything else happened in that meeting this morning that needs to be passed along?
That was the big note of interest, was the question over where the pace car would be, and there was a little ribbing at Beatty about where the restarts would come. We're about to see the first one of the day, and as they come off turn 4 at the entrance of pit road where the grassy tri-oval area starts, that is where the cars are supposed to come on the gas. The pace car is circulating at a steady 55 miles an hour, and the drivers were sharply cautioned to hold their speed down to 55. There you see the grass right at the base of the screen. At that point, they're to accelerate.
Here we are watching for a restart this time by. See the pieces of rubber bouncing back from that pace car. Interesting picture there as you see the throngs gathered here today. Here's Phil Parsons motioning for that field to pull up from the Crown Petroleum car. Right in front of him is the Chuck Ryder car number 30. That driver, Mike Waltrip, Darrell's younger brother, had a tremendous race yesterday in the 300, one of his best races today. He was up in the front of the hunt all afternoon before Moroso came first, Wallace in second. He was
right up in there, too.
Well, they have a beautiful program there and strong facility. I think that program will get better and better.
Look at those pieces of rubber that have been collected, bouncing back toward those cars. That's the kind of shrapnel you're racing against. As we take a look at the 90-lap rundown, I mean, all of the folks that have some individuals you're interested in, so much intense battling up in front, give you an idea of where some of your favorites may be running. Here's Petty falling back just a bit and up in front. Remember, he's a lap down. Car number 33 has the lead. That's Harry Gant in the Buick, and the Pontiac moves in that second spot coming through turns 3 and 4. Harry Gant has won himself 10 Winston Cup races since he began back in 1973.
Whoa, Greg Sachs went across the grass to go 3 wide. I mean, 4 wheels on the grass in the trial.
It's the Dale Earnhardt trick. That's what they call agricultural racing here in North Carolina. On the asphalt, on the grass, out in the clay, whatever it takes.
I'll guarantee you, it's really an advantage to start up front and get that jump because there is some heavy-duty racing going on.
Here you see the top 3. Down they come to the line. Buick, Pontiac, Ford. 1, 2, 3. Take a look at the scramble a little further back. There's the front 3, evenly deployed. Gant first. Look at Bodine trying to hold off and not successful. First with number 11, Labonte, scooting around him. This for 6. Darrell Waltrip right there as well, zipping through in the 17 car.
I'm telling you, these cars are stacked up and so much action going. We are lucky not to have had another caution because we've had 10 wrecks. They just didn't hit anything.
Here's Waltrip back to the inside now. You see the 6 car, Mark Martin in 4th as they swap them around. 5th is number 11. Here comes Waltrip on the inside. Waltrip taking a shot as we follow this battle. 4th, 5th, 6th right there. Waltrip on the inside in the 17. Can't quite get the Chevy beneath the Ford. And Schrader's in there too. Chris Economaki is in Harry Gant's pit.
Andy, aside from gas and tires, what does Harry want under the car?
He said it was pretty good, you know. He just put the label tires on, filled up with gas.
Just like that, huh?
Yeah, we just that did it lucky, I guess.
Okay, there's a guy that's in the car that's right for today. Back to you, Ken.
Change of position here just behind these front 3. Swapping positions around. Mark Martin getting caught up by car number 11 and by 17. Both scooting by, and here comes Schrader. Number 11, Terry Labonte, goes to 4th. Waltrip to 5th. And now on the outside, here comes Waltrip around Labonte into 4th. Schrader dropping to the inside and the back straightaway as they shuffle the positions down the backstretch. Ken Schrader puts his Chevy up in front of. Here comes Labonte right back again. On the inside, number 11, holding 25 to the outside, even to the line. They're now showing that Schrader car. They're saying he's a lap down. He's gone 1 lap down, so Schrader is fighting to try to get his way back up in front, make his lap up. It can be done. We've seen them come from 2 laps down to win here. And you heard about that first race when the winner came from 4 laps down to win. Yesterday, Robbie Moroso was down a lap in the 300. He made it up and went on to victory. Ken Schrader stays on the high side in the Rick Hendrick number 25.
Bodine, the number 5 car, is jumping up in there. Maybe he can draft with Schrader and help him push him by. They're both Rick Hendrick's cars, and I think they would work closely together.
Rick Hendrick has his name on 3 cars out here today. The Waltrip car, the number 17, and then this 25 car and the 5 car. All from the Chevrolet stables, are the 5th biggest Chevrolet salesman in the United States.
Yeah, and Rick Hendricks is such a class act for our sport. He works so well with everyone, and he's so well respected.
And you think he'll give you a Chevrolet?
Well, I would certainly like one, but no, I would assume no, he won't.
You're lucky to get a door handle. Car number 11, Terry Labonte, on the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Schrader back up, making up his lap on car number 11, Terry Labonte. And that Thunderbird lies in 5th. Terry Labonte, what kind of problems is your team having after changing from Chevrolets to Fords, the junior Johnson in 89?
Not only did we switch from Chevy to Ford, but we also switched from rear steer car to front steer cars. And the cars are a lot more sensitive than what we're used to working with. We'll make little changes to the car, and it makes a big change on the racetrack. And that's constantly the thing we're fighting. We didn't have that problem with our Chevrolet. You had to make big changes to the car to make it make little changes on the track. And the first time around in some of these places, it's been kind of tough for us to get the real thing really dialed in good.
All right, I'm with Junior Johnson now. Junior, looks like you've really got the car figured out. Am I right?
Well, we're good, Chris, and the cars are handling good, so it's a long, long race yet. We just got to, stay out of trouble and keep it, and we should be there at the end.
Have you been making any changes during the pit stops, or are you leaving it alone?
We haven't so far, so we feel pretty good about that. If you have to start adjusting on it right away, you're in a lot of trouble.
Terry looks pretty good to me.
I think he's in great shape.
Okay, thanks very much, Junior Johnson.
Labonte's best finish. We saw him get a second over at Talladega this year after starting 25th. Looks good here. There's Jimmy Means right in front of him in the number 52. Meanwhile, let's take a look up in front. There is the battle for first place. Harry Gant is there, and they've really done the tighten up. Car number 27. Rusty Wallace lies in second, sneaks a peek at first on the bottom side, and number 7, Kowicki, comes with him.
Well, the key is Kowicki ran him down about 2 seconds. So Kowicki's the fastest car on the racetrack now. I think he's probably going to sit there and ride, but he ran him down quickly. So Allen really is hooked up too now.
And you can see the interval back to number 17 running in 4th as they go by the condos down in turn 1. And there's Dick Trickle in the number 84 diving to the racetrack. He's a lap back, I believe, and he's coming up through. Are they showing him a lap down? That's the story. They're showing him in 16th or 17th, fighting his way back in. Dick Trickle going by number 17, Waltrip, the 4-time winner of the 600. Back in front. Buick, Pontiac, Ford. 1, 2, 3. Marching in lockstep down into turn number 1. 3-car interval between those leaders as they move into the back straightaway. And everyone's sitting on about a 165-mile-an-hour lap now.
Listen,
in an Oldsmobile.
Yeah, I was going to help you because these Oldsmobile people are sensitive about that. Oldsmobile.
I don't know why they would be. I don't know why they. So the Oldsmobile stays in front. And there is the second Australian car, and that was the one highly favored to have a stout finish today. Car number 47, Alan Grice, in trouble and back in the garage area. Car number 47, the Foster's Pontiac, with the hood up. Looks like they may try to get back out here. They have a battle for the lead between the Oldsmobile and the Pontiac.
I think Rusty's about ready to try to make the move because he really hung it out coming out of turn. But Harry was able to hold him off.
Bodine moving around. He's pulling up. Car number 5, Bodine on a roll. F. Bodine comes up into 4th spot. Terry Labonte in 5th. Waltrip 6th. About where he probably wants to be. Look at the 4th. On the inside, there's the Ford, number 11. On the outside, the Chevrolet, number 5. Labonte versus Bodine. And it looks like Waltrip may be slowing down a little out here. It's fallen back behind the Olds, number 4.
Wait a minute. Listen to me, Ken. That is game plan. Let these people go. Let them use their cars up. Let me disappear. Don't worry about me. Don't show me on TV. Leave me alone. We'll get the last caution. I'll win the race. That's the philosophy. Listen to me.
We'll see. Falling back at the moment. Car number 17, the 4-time winner, Darrell Waltrip. Johnny Hayes, Ken Squire with you here for the 600 at Charlotte.
Monday. Ride
days for 170,000 here today at Charlotte, North Carolina. These are as good as they get. Here's number 94, Sterling Marlin, who's been doing some outstanding racing. He and Rick Wilson up in 5th and 6th position. Take a look just a moment ago as we were broaching the 175-mile distance here in the race. Out of turn 4, that's Rick Wilson, the number 4, down at the bottom of the racetrack. Marlin in the middle, Bodine on the outside. How do you do?
Wow.
That at about 170 miles an hour.
And nobody lifted.
Nobody lifted. And Earnhardt just sat there and watched. Sterling Marlin up in the 6th position. Back with the leaders, and we have a new leader. Car number 27, Rusty Wallace, assumes first place. And here you see Alan Kowicki's number 7 Ford going to second with the Oldsmobile. Note that Oldsmobile, John, running in 3rd spot.
You noticed Alan that time got high again. It seems the longer Alan goes, his car gets a little looser, and he went high, and Harry was able to get closer to him. He'll probably try to go under him this time.
Jimmy Means in the Alka-Seltzer car. Apparently he's not feeling well today. Just pulled back into the garage area. Sterling Marlin run certainly would nominate him for the Sears Die Hard Charger here in the Coca-Cola 600. That was some go. Wallace wants to lead. He wants to lead a lot this year. He feels he lost the national championship a year ago because he just didn't come out here and assert himself, didn't dominate in the races. And so therefore this year he really has his eyes set on the Waldorf Astoria in New York City. And here's that second Australian car, number 06. That's the Byers car that crashed late yesterday. Terry Byers, who's from over in the steel world of Australia. Here he is coming down to the line. He's tried to qualify well. He had a good first lap. The second lap, he spun in turn number. Working over here for a year in the United States on Winston Cup cars, trying to gather some experience and take it back for Thunderdome in Australia. Tough cars in the back straightaway. You think this kind of racing will catch on around the world? I mean, the American football, now the NBA is moving into Europe. What do you think, John? In a while, will you be an international? I'd love to see you as an international traveler.
Bonjour, comment ça va? I am fluent in several languages.
Yeah, right. I wish we could understand one of them.
That's ugly. That hurts my Southern heritage. You just offended every Southern American living.
No, I was only talking about the Hayes.
Oh, no, I know what you said. All you Southern people don't let it be ugly to me.
We asked Rusty Wallace about racing hard for 600 miles. Or do you lay back early so as not to wear out the car?
Well, you can wear a car out. You sure can. You know, that's the reason you can't really torture one. You can't abuse it. You can't. If it's sideways every lap, you just don't want to try to continue throwing it sideways every lap. You're going to wear it out. Tear tires off it. You're just going to drift to the back because they're going to be so hot they won't stick. So, you got to be an aggressive driver, but you can't be a crazy driver where you start tearing your equipment up, or else you won't finish. And that's a fine line between good drivers and bad drivers.
Falling back to third is that number 27 as Kowicki goes to the point. Remember, Kowicki has one of the smallest teams out here that's now leading, and there's Rusty Wallace with whom you were just conversing. This $800,000 event live today on the Superstation. It's a tremendous race. Another lead change taking place as the car number 7 of Alan Kowicki appropriates first position another time, and he brings Harry Gant right with him. 125 laps are now complete, 187 miles. Here's the battle for fourth. Rick Wilson, number 4 on the inside. On the outside, Terry Labonte, who was in fourth. Now it's Wilson again. And there's the Schrader car, lap down, still trying to get back in the hunt.
That's really been a heated battle. They've also been door-to-door. They give each other plenty of room, but they've been racing hard trying to get around. Rick Wilson all year has been one of the strongest cars in racing. The Kodak car is always strong. If he can just make her last all day, he's another guy that you can't count out of this one.
Still looking for his first career win. Rick Wilson in number 4. Best finish thus far this year. We saw him fourth up at Martinsville earlier this year on that half-mile track. Rick Wilson from Bartow, Florida, in the Kodak number 4. And there you see Terry Labonte, number 11, right behind him. They continue to swap positions in the battle for fourth.
Rusty's coming down pit road.
Well, maybe something to miss on car number 27. Let's see what happens here. As the Datsun crew awaits number 27 Wallace. He's in, and it's a tire change.
I want you to watch that pit crew work how fast. They do just an awesome job. They're one of the best in the sport. How they do that, I don't know. It took me an hour to change one tire.
A lot of those people were on that all-pro crew last year. You know, the people, it's interesting, in this sport of car racing, the drivers and many crew members, they vote among themselves for the top man at each position on pit road, and it's a very prestigious thing. You think about the drivers, but in the winter, they put a lot of attention to the gas man, the tire man, the jack man, the tire carrier, that kind of thing. And that Datsun crew had, what, 3 people in that All-American team?
Yes, on the first team. So they're one of the best. Earnhardt team and the Datsun team, they both have been great.
51 laps since the last stop. So it's about time for these guys to be coming in as we watch Alan Kowicki's Ford maintaining first and Harry Gant having a magnificent run, staying second today. Handsome Harry in number 33. The Bandit closes in another time on Kowicki, the young man from Wisconsin. Really 4 guys work on this car. Bobby Allison was saying to me this morning, he says, you know, Kowicki's apt to lead a lot in the early going, but he said that team, 100-mile race toward the end, that could catch them. These bigger teams could really have an impact on this.
I'm not sure that's still the case. Alan Kowicki, they just went through a very strenuous program trying to make their pit crew better. They hired professionals to come in and give them guidance. They're not quite as behind as they used to be. They've got some first-class people working there. Right, and also I think he has the money to support a Ford and those sort of things, and he's proving how good he is, but it's an awesome job. You just can't do what he's done in the time he's done it.
A university graduate in engineering up in Wisconsin. Here he is leading here today. He loves to race. His dad was somewhat involved in motorsports, and here you see Alan Kowicki staying out in front. Has 1 win to date at Phoenix, Arizona. Looks like he's getting challenged here. Back straightaway. Getting around that lap car of Eddie Bierschwale. Harry Gant pulling in another time. Gant is definitely on the come. Harry Gant rolling in there, pulling back up to take another stab at car number 7. Putting a lap on Ben Hess, main straightaway. 131 laps now complete in the 600. That's 196 miles down, fast approaching 200. Jimmy Means is the only car out. He has a burned piston. 41 other cars continue to race. Bryce has come back on the track.
Ken talking about Alan Kowicki. Now he has a small...
spinning for. Number 29, Dale Jarrett loops it. Caution is on, second time today. The Cale Yarborough, number 29, being driven by Hickory, North Carolina's Dale Jarrett, loops in turn 4. Second caution of the day. Excuse me, Mike. We're under caution.
Dale Jarrett's car. You see the Ghostbusters logo on the hood? That's a sponsor promotion. I think Jarrett just got slimed up there in turn number 4 as it comes to the pit lane. Alan Kowicki, I was saying, has a small crew, but it's a very dedicated and a tightly knit crew. Paul Andrews, the crew chief, Billy Engel, and they're doing a great job, but Kowicki, he's the engine to it. He's the chassis man. He's the car owner. He writes the payroll. He pays the bills, and he's doing 8 different jobs. And if anything catches up with that team, it would be that. He's also the most sought-after man in this garage area today. This morning he met with 2 different car manufacturers, and yesterday it was hinted that his sponsor, Xerox Antifreeze, has tied him up to a long-term deal to make sure he doesn't get away. Nothing signed yet, but they're very close to that.
Pit road is still closed. Jarrett, who flat-spotted his tires, is in there. The rest of the field stays out. This comes at the most appropriate time for the rest of the field. Absolutely couldn't come better. This will give them all a chance to pit and will keep a lot of people in that lead lap as they had wanted to. There's the spin that brought out that caution. So Dale Jarrett back on his way once again, and we'll be back with more of the action at Charlotte shortly.
The True Value hard charger of the race standings. Mark Martin led 52 of the first 100 laps. Came at atop this leaderboard with 398 points. Harry Gant with 268. Rusty Wallace, Kenny Schrader, and Darrell Waltrip, each $1,500 bonus at the end of today's racing. Ken?
Still under caution. It's been relatively free. One caution for a piece of wire on the track. This one for a spin in turn number 4 by Dale Jr.
The hood's up on the car number 88, Greg Sachs. He's coming down pit road trying to beat the pace car, but I think they put the stop sign on him, so he's going to lose a lap.
Just a moment ago, car number 11 came in, Terry Labonte, and spun down on pit road. Did his whole pit stop backwards.
Yeah, he was facing perfectly in his spot. It looked like a Riverside stop, but everybody else was going the other way.
He's back out and underway. Alan Kowicki stays first, and there you see him in car number 7. The driver they call Special K, with now 136 laps complete, getting ready to go green. Harry Gant's Oldsmobile stays second. Rick Wilson lies third. Dale Earnhardt is fourth. Bill Elliott fifth. Jeff Bodine sixth. Davey Allison seventh. Rusty Wallace eighth. Darrell Waltrip ninth, and Sterling Marlin is in 10th. Here's Chris.
Well, the Wood brothers are said to have everything ready for any emergency. Neil Bonnet, who had to go through the grass when a car spun in front of him, windshield. At his last pit stop, he asked for some eye wash. So at this pit stop they just made, they gave him some eye wash to flush out his eyes. He got the Comeback Driver of the Year award yesterday. He's won this race twice, and his crew, the Wood brothers, have won it 4 times. And they're standing by with a new windshield just in case they have to change it later today. Back to you.
Mark Martin is late coming out, Chris, and Ricky Rudd is also on pit road going a lap down. Greg Sachs is on pit road as this race resumes at lap 137 with Alan Kowicki first, Gant second, Wilson third into turn 1. Everybody away. Coming up to speed in the back straightaway, there you see Mark Martin. Bottom of your screen. Takes a while to get back to full song, and he is dropping back behind those leaders, going down another time. Tough on him. 25, looks like he's making up a lap. Look at Schrader out in front. And we've got a spin, and 4 gets collected.
No caution at this
now.
point.
I believe it was that O'Neill car again. Started a spin in turn number 4, gathered it back up, went on his way. There you see him, the back of the field, with another wild moment. Schrader out in front. He'd love to see a caution now. He's running out in front of number 33 Gant, number 7 Kowicki, and number 4 Wilson. As they come by, you'll see Kowicki in the Ford right behind number 25, completing another lap, and Schrader has made up his lap.
Well, Kowicki will drive it as hard as he can to get by Schrader. Doesn't want to have to beat him later on the race. So if he can keep him a lap down, he doesn't have to beat him later.
25, the last car on that lead lap. I'll check the number of cars for you in the lead lap. Here you see Kowicki going to the inside on that Chevrolet, trying to put Schrader down 1. There are 15 cars in the lead lap as we come to lap 140. Next time by, and 210 laps complete.
Well, you're notice they're going by Greg Sachs. That's the car on the bottom of the racetrack, the blue car.
Buddy Baker's car.
And it's putting him down another lap.
Alan Kowicki stays in first. Gant, number 33, in second. Wilson in fourth. And Larry Pearson looks like he's pulling out of the race. Larry Pearson down on pit road, going back to the garage area. Meanwhile, the front 3 getting a little closer together here. Here's closing. Down into turn number 1. Alan Kowicki stays up in front. Who imagine that Alan Kowicki would be in the hunt for the Winston Cup Championship after only 3 years in the major leagues?
Alan Kowicki is a little like stock car greats Freddie Lorenzen and Gerald Aaron. By outward appearance, he has no business in this business. In a sport of the South, he's a man of the North. His clothes traded higher education for racetrack apprenticeship. Kowicki's a college-educated engineer. His trademark is self-reliance. For 4 years, he's run his own team. When he finally won a race, he turned down rich driving offers to remain his own man. And now he's fourth in points, a one-man band capable of winning his first championship.
Key to our season will be whether we can avoid mechanical failures. We seem to be able to get in the car handled pretty well everywhere we go. We can make that Xerox Ford finish every weekend, stay out of trouble. I think we have a chance.
There you see Alan Kowicki at 143, staying right in first place, and just in front of him, the 15th car in the lead lap, Schrader, and Kowicki trying to put a lap on him. Here's Steve Burns.
Paul Anders is the crew chief on Alan Kowicki's car. Paul, you had an excellent pit stop, changed 4 tires, 4 brand new tires. Have you made any other adjustments to the car?
No, that's all we did. We left the stacker the same. We didn't change the wedge. The guys on the Xerox Ford Thunderbird done a great job. We're looking real forward to this race. We have a long ways to go yet, but we'll see what happens. A lot of money up grabs for Alan Kowicki.
Kowicki continues to put the pressure on as he tries to put Schrader 1 lap down. Now there's car number 3. That's running 4th at this point. Dale Earnhardt after this pit stop caution period. And Bill Elliott comes into 5th. Haven't had a call on Elliott yet today.
Well, both of those cars have been quietly coming to the front. And while we're talking about Dale Earnhardt, one of the all-pro tire changers, Will Lynn, from Lakeland, Florida, his father had a heart attack at his telegas today, and Will just wanted to tell his dad he loved him and hope he got well.
Yes, indeed. Here's Bill Elliott holding on to 5th. Bodine has moved to 6th. Jeff Bodine to 6th. And Davey Allison has brought, there you see Bodine, and behind him comes Davey Allison in 7th at this time. .146 laps complete. Kowicki stays in first. Second spot, Harry Gant. We'll be back with more shortly. 4, smoke rippled out of car number 33. And Harry Gant's Oldsmobile is now a retiree from the garage area. That's a sadness for a lot of folks that love to see him run. Gant has retired. Kowicki stays first. Rick Wilson's Oldsmobile takes over in 2nd. Bill Elliott comes to 3rd. Earnhardt to 4th. Bodine to 5th. Davey Allison up to 6th. Rusty Wallace 7th. Darrell is 8th. Sterling Marlin 9th. And Terry Labonte lies 10th. Morgan Shepherd back in 11th. Brett Bodine now 12th. Followed by Lake Speed in 13th. 14th. Earnhardt and Bodine at it again.
That makes me get a little nervous there.
That's 4th place. This is where they had such a tussle a year ago. Car number 3, the man in black, Earnhardt, and with him comes number 5, Jeff Bodine. Right behind them as they scoot down the main straightaway. Davey Allison getting into this one. Rusty Wallace there as well. There you see Davey Allison just behind Bodine, the 28, and then the 27 of Wallace. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th position.
That's a nice group. We should get some action out of Earnhardt, Bodine, Waltrip. Yeah, there should be action in that group.
Wallace making some action right now as he tries to dispatch Allison. 7th spot. And it is Wallace easily down to the inside.
Don't discount Davey Allison, Ken. He is running according to plan. He carefully studied Waltrip's win in this race last year and told me yesterday, you won't even see me the first 300 miles. I am just going to ride. That's what Darrell did last year, and he came storming on and won this thing in the last 100 miles. He said, that's my plan for Sunday. Tough to do to just ride because I'm a racer, but I'm going to ride it out and wait for the late racing.
Well, the late racing is still a long way off. 209 miles have now been completed.
Well, Darrell, he's still we've lost him. He's buried back in the middle somewhere, all the way back to 8th place, 7 seconds, and is running the same speed of the leaders.
The other one that's running a very good race is Sterling Marlin. We saw him loose up in Florida. Well, there's Darrell, and there's Sterling Marlin in the blue and yellow Sunoco number 94 up on the outside.
Someone told me this morning if the hot key was just follow Waltrip. Do everything that he does. If he pits, pit behind him. Just stay on the racetrack, and you'll finish in the top 5 or may win the race.
Putting another lap on Dick Trickle's number 84. There you see Trickle down on the inside of the Stavola car, and here's Terry Labonte in the number 11, having a good stout run.
You know,
remember that he is running, but he's running 10th. Marlin, as you see in the blue car, is running 9th, and Waltrip is in 8th.
We talk about Waltrip, how intelligent he is, and everybody compares him to Freddie Lorenzen. And what was really neat is Freddie's here at this race. It was great to see him again and have him back with us. And he's already talking about, maybe I'll bring my son down here and start me a race team.
That's right, Freddie Lorenzen, former warrior. Here are the leaders again, as you see car number 7 leading, Kulwicki in the 4th. The Oldsmobile, that yellow and red, number 4, Rick Wilson in 2nd spot. Lorenzen, who has won here on this track, retired 17 years ago. His son is 16. And his son had never seen his dad or really known much about his career. And his mother said, you know, these kids need to know what you did and who you were, that you were one of the major names in American sport. And he also brought his 12-year-old daughter, Amanda, who had no idea that her dad had ever done this kind of thing. They are having the best weekend of their life. Very proud of their father. He's been on the newspaper columns and on the front page once this week. Lorenzen, the first man who won $100,000 in a year, retired when he was 32. He said, boy, did I do that wrong. He said, my son Chris wants to come out here and run. He said, I don't know maybe not a bad idea.
I'm going to tell you, he looks good enough. He looks like he could jump right in the car now. He hadn't changed. He hadn't aged as much as some of his competitors. Like my man, Junior Johnson, looks like he's a little bit older.
I'm sure used to running down. Lorenzen, 63 and 65 winner of this event. Here are the overall standings once again. That's through 150 laps. We're 159 on the board, and this is the complete rundown for you, so you have an idea of where your folks are running if you're fans of stock car racing. You see Larry Pearson back on the bottom of the track there for a moment. And look at Kulwicki staying right there with Schrader. Schrader is so pumped for this race. He told me yesterday, and there's the Byers car, 06, that Australian car getting lapped again. See him down there on the bottom of the racetrack. I'll tell you what, give them 2 or 3 years, those Australias will be around. The Schrader people were saying last night they really think they're onto something for this race. They seem terribly confident.
One thing I love about Schrader in this situation now, he's driving his heart out, just hoping and praying for a caution, because if he can get back in the lead lap, he's proven he has the car that can win this race. He's just hoping that the car will stay good, the tires will stay good, that he can keep that lead, but he's begging for a caution.
That's what he needs, just one caution here, and he can circulate around the track and pull right back up on those other 13 or 14 in the lead lap.
Did you see the smoke come from Rick Wilson's tires coming through Ford? He is driving the heck out of the car. That's where Rick, I wish he would take a little bit better care of it and not risk hanging it out, because at 600 miles he has one of the best, if not the best, cars on the racetrack.
He just loves to go fast. Now, here's a super speedway racer, this guy Wilson.
Looks like he's not fast enough to pass Kulwicki, but you'll see every time he gains on him, Rick will work down and then up the racetrack, trying to take a little air off the back spoiler and get Kulwicki loosened up. So far, that hasn't worked. You saw a shot a minute ago of Tony Glover, Rick Wilson's crew chief. His wife is expecting a child, going to have it on Tuesday. So Tony has more than a couple things to be nervous about here today as his driver draws up on the number 7 of Kulwicki.
And Schrader has a couple of things to be worried about. 7 and 4 closing up. Here's Kulwicki trying to put a lap on Schrader. Back straightaway. This is lap 163. Working 163. Schrader trying desperately to stay in the lead lap. And Kulwicki trying to knock him down.
Well, here we're going to go.
Here comes Wilson. They're going to make it 3 wide. Oh, Kulwicki slides out of 4. At 165 miles an hour, Kulwicki gathers it back up. Now, you'd think they were battling for the lead, but it's more desperate than that for number 25, Schrader. Wants to stay in that lead lap. Kulwicki does not need him up there, nor does Wilson nor anyone else in the lead lap. Formidable competitor. Ken Schrader out of Fenton, Missouri, now going the lap down. No, sir, he stays right there by about 3 feet. Back comes Kulwicki on the inside. They're
watch him pull down.
Looking at each other. And they're 3 wide, and Wilson gets hit.
God. Oh, and there goes Mark Martin diving under him on the grass. Hey, I thought this was a 600-mile race, boys. Y'all slow down. If I was the pit crew, I guarantee you every crew chief is screaming.
Something's happened to Kowicki's car. Look at him backing up, and here comes 4 up through. Here comes 6. And remember that 6 is a lap down.
He probably cut a tire down with all the banging or has a problem, or he listened to his crew chief and said, get out of that junk. It's 600 miles. I want to race, man.
The new leader is Wilson in the Oldsmobile. Larry McClure, the car owner. Now watch car number 7. Looks like it's all in one chunk.
I think the engineer, intelligent person that lives in his body jumped in his mind real quick and said, wait a minute, don't blow the whole thing. You have the best car on the racetrack or one of the best. And that's what you get with pit bulls. If you feed all those pit bulls out there, and it's the competitiveness inside of them, they all have 2 or 3 people living inside their body, and you don't know which coming out. Well, the smart guy just jumped back in his head and got out of traffic.
Tony Glover on the number 4 car talking to Rick Wilson, and here you see Alan Kowicki's people going over what happened to him.
Yeah, that's Big Billy, and he's really been a great addition to Alan's team. When those people came on, they listen to Alan, they work with Alan, they don't try to tell him what to do. Alan calls his shots, and it's worked out well for him.
Chad Little and Kyle Petty, the 87 winner, both on pit road right now. 162 miles an hour in the last lap. Wilson now stays first. Martin in number 6, trying to make up a lap. Kowicki cooling it for the moment in the back straightaway. And Bill Elliott, indeed. Car number 9 is closing up on number 7. Here you see the 7 car of Kowicki. He's running second. And there you see the 9 car just beginning to come into the picture. Bill Elliott in number 9 is closing. There you see the interval between Alan Kowicki in second, Elliott maintaining third.
I was really impressed in talking with Bill Elliott yesterday how he has his head on straight about this year. He's had a lot of adversity, but he, going into this thing, felt like he had a strong chance to win this race. And he's one of those guys that's usually there at the end and will take care of his equipment.
Chris Economaki is down on Alan Kowicki's pit. Let's get the story.
Okay, when this race took the green flag, 6 of the drivers owned their own cars. The rest are contract drivers that take orders from the pits. One of those 6 owner drivers is Alan Kowicki. Paul Andrews, the crew chief. Paul, who's in charge? The man at the wheel, or are you here in the pit?
Well, Alan's in charge right now at the moment. When he comes in for tires, we take over then.
Well, what about this mix-up he's out there with critters? How do you feel about him racing that way?
Well, I think Alan was just a little bit loose, and him and Rick got together on the front straightaway, so I don't know exactly what happened over there. All I can know is what I see here. Everything's okay, though. We're set our own pace and gonna keep going forward now.
If you were in charge, would you tell me to get out of it and let him go?
No.
No, okay, there you have it from Paul Andrews, Alan Kowicki's crew chief. Back to you, Ken.
170 of 400 laps complete. 255 miles are now down. Leader is Wilson in the number 4. Martin trying to make the lap up, and they're putting a lap on number 71, Dave Marcus. Marcus going a lap down. Byers, the Australian runner, has pitted and come back out. Number 7, Kowicki stays second. Closing is Bill Elliott in number 9.
It's really neat for Rick Wilson to be leading the race, and this being such an important race. He's had so many good runs. He's always run good at Daytona, Talladega, those kind of places, but now he started running good at short tracks. And the Morgan McClure team has really come together to have a new engine builder that's helped them dramatically. And I just say that's the team, and he's such a tough driver. He'll go for it. If you want to fight you, buddy, he will fight you.
172 laps are now down. The standings getting pretty interesting here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
In February of
leaders, car number 11. The number 6 car is just getting its lap back, and we're watching car number 11 falling off the pace. There you see Terry Labonte in the Junior Johnson car, who's been running up in the top 5, top 6. He is slowing down, belching smoke as he goes into turn number 1, and it looks like it's over today for Texas Terry. He's way off the pace at the present time. Mark Martin has made up his lap. He's running back in the lead lap while Rick Wilson leads. Alan Kowicki is in second, and Bill Elliott's closed up in third. There you see the Martin car, number 6, scooting up in front.
We just saw Rusty just jump under Bill Elliott to pick up that third spot. Now we have Kowicki going after the 4 car.
Here is Alan Kowicki beneath Rick Wilson. And another change of the lead.
And see, I think that's a real intelligent move by Alan Kowicki. It got crazy up there. Everybody was banging, pushing. He said, I'll drop back a little bit, let this thing settle down. And now he's gone back to the front. He let his tires cool. And I think I really compliment him on it. And that's the kind of thing that will mature him and make him start winning races or more races.
5-car length advantage for Kowicki. Gets out in front, so he has a clear view of everything that's going on now. Commanding the race with Wilson in second. The 9 car and the 27 car continue their own vendetta, and here comes Wallace down to the inside. Here's Rusty Wallace getting beneath Rick Wilson into the back straightaway. Side by side. Pontiac on the inside. Oldsmobile on the outside. Number 9, Elliott pulling in.
Wilson coming up to put a lap on the Copenhagen Terry Lace car.
A.J. Foyt's car running here today. Terry Leslie, the ARCA winner this year on television.
And A.J.'s running in that other race for the 50th or 70th time. I think A.J. must be about 100 years old.
Rick Wilson certainly a nominee for that Sears Die-Hard Charger in the Coca-Cola 600. Started 5th, now out in front with car number 4. He and Alan Kowicki continuing to swap the lead. For the moment, Kowicki has it. Wilson has led the last dozen laps, and 27 Wallace is ready to challenge, and here comes Elliott as well. Car number 30 looks like it's showing some smoke now, running back in 13th position. They've been fighting for some time. The 15th, Brett Bodine, and car number 30, that's a scramble for the 12th position, and you're seeing it being taken by car number 15. 12th spot.
I can't
goes
tell
to Bodine.
I can't tell if it's tire smoke or rear end smoke, but you can see the white smoke coming up, and he's pushing high. I've got a feeling it's just tire smoke.
Ernie Urban, the number 2 in there. Neil Bonnet in there as well.
Ernie Urban's another kid that doesn't get a lot of calls, but he's done an excellent. No, I don't believe that's tire smoke, because it was smoking, down the front stretch. But Ernie Urban jumping under there, he has really done a good job with Bob Johnson as new crew chief. Mike
Waltrip was the person you were talking about, and now from the Crown Petroleum car down the back straightaway with Phil Parsons in car number 55.
You can see how the car vibrates, that it's not a totally comfortable 600-mile ride. I don't know how far 600 miles is, but I guess you could drive from North Carolina to Michigan or somewhere.
We'll see pit stops in the next 6-7 laps. Phil Parsons running off the lead lap. He's down 1, maybe 2 at this point. Back with the leaders. Watching Kowicki in front. Getting a pretty healthy advantage. Boy, he's even dominating. When this record for the race, 140 miles an hour, was established back in 1975, there were only 3 cautions for 12 laps. And to date, we've had only 2 as we get close to the halfway mark. Kowicki staying in front. We asked the poll winner where he'd like to be at the end of the 600 mile with the last lap to go.
The competition's, pretty tough here. It's been pretty hard to pass. Unless you have a lot of power, you're going to have a hard time getting by the guy in front of you. I'd rather be out front.
So if we get down to that last lap, he wants to be right on the point. And here he is putting a marker on car number 6, Martin.
And Martin fought so hard to get that lap back, and Kowicki went right back. So Martin's a lap down. And you'll also notice that Kowicki is really shortening the margin between himself and Schrader.
So you'll draw a line between front runner Kowicki and Martin going a lap back in 15th.
Alan's so smooth on the racetrack. You'll notice the line, he he has almost a perfect line around the racetrack, and I don't think he's abusing the car at all, and he let the tires cool down, and he's ready to go again.
Car number 11 finally comes onto pit road.
Making that hard left turn into the garage
the
area.
hardest turn there is to make it all. Back to the garage area for car number 11.
And see, this is a lot of good cars. We're starting to lose real good cars that were capable of winning this race awfully early in the race. So I have a feeling the track conditions and the rear end choices, because of weather change, the way the motors were set up with carburetors, is starting to hurt some of these teams. So it may be the team that guessed right on the choice of carburetors or the choice of rear-end gear may win this race. Here we have one of the classic duos in America today.
There you have it. Earnhardt on the inside. And right beside him, Elliott. Down the main straightaway as car number 27, Wallace, comes in. He's been the first in for these planned pit stops. Here you see number 4, Wilson, now in second. We have Elliott in third, Earnhardt in fourth, Bodine in fifth. Another stop under green, which usually gets some separation on the field. Quickly away, Rusty Wallace in number 27. Kowicki stays first. Now Wilson, the second place car, and Earnhardt, the fourth place car, dive onto pit road. There they are. So Kowicki stays in front. This would put Bill Elliott into second and Jeff Bodine into third.
So these are scheduled pit stops. You see Kowicki is coming up quickly on the back of Rusty Wallace, trying to put him a lap down in case the caution comes, and Rusty will fight him tooth and nail to stay in front.
Sterling Marlin up to fourth. Waltrip comes to fifth. See who's next to come in. This is lap 190. We're at 190, which would mean 285 miles are down. Earnhardt comes out first.
And again, there we're talking about pit crews. Earnhardt has one of the greatest pit crews in motorsports, and he was able to beat Rick Wilson out by about 2 seconds, and that makes a gigantic difference on the racetrack, almost a full straightaway.
Coming to speed, Kowicki stays first, Elliott in second, Bodine in third. There's your leader, Alan Kowicki. Let's see if he's coming in. Indeed, that's the case. Alan Kowicki bears down on pit road. That will give the lead over to Bill Elliott. Ford inherits the lead from another Ford. Moving up to second spot goes Bodine. Marlin moves to third. Darrell Waltrip to fourth. Davey Allison into fifth. Kowicki away at 17.4 for 2 tires and fuel.
And see, a great stop is somewhere in the area of 12 seconds. You know that Terry Labonte's crew made 11-second stop in the Winston.
New leader, Elliott. Elliott now first. Let's go to Steve Byrne.
Terry Labonte had a great run going. Terry, what happened?
Well, we're not really sure. I think it broke a push rod or a rocker arm or something. It might have dropped a valve. We don't know. It just went on 7 cylinders, and there really wasn't no point running around on 7 cylinders for 300 miles.
You guys really hooked up. It has to be disappointing.
Well, really, I hate to see it. Tim and all the guys really had the car working super. The thing was running good. We got behind because I spun out in the pits, but the car was working good, and we really weren't worried about it. We knew we could get back to the front.
Let's go to Ken and Johnny.
Elliott and Bodine both pull on pit road at the same time. Sterling Marlin will now take first place. Darrell Waltrip will move to second, and Davey Allison third. Elliott, very planned, calculated race by the 29-time Winston Cup winner. Here's Bodine, off to Jack and back into it. Elliott beats Bodine out of the pits.
Elliott 13.8, so he beat Kowicki by about 4 seconds. And when you put that on the racetrack, that's a straightaway, so you can make up a lot of time or lose a lot of time on a pit stop.
Sterling Marlin, number 94, now becomes the leader as we see Schrader on pit road. Waltrip goes to second. The Billy Hagan car has now taken the lead, number 94.
Schrader had a nice stop. That was a real smooth stop.
Waltrip is second. Davey Allison is third. Neil Bonnet's making his pit stop. Blake Speed in fourth. Remember that Waltrip seems to have better range all the way through this race off his car than most.
And he did that at the Daytona 500, I think. I think that's the way he won it, because he did have the range.
Had incredible range there. All green most of the way. 2 cautions to date.
Sterling Marlin has also done an excellent job today. We still have a lot of good cars in the race.
See, he's lapping Kyle Petty. Remember, Kyle crashed right there last week and either broke or badly bruised his sternum. Look at number 94 fading to the outside. Tires are a little thin on that as he laps Byers, the Australian, another time.
Yeah, I think they're all feel a lot more comfortable when they get those new tires on it. They love it when they get a caution and get 4 new tires on it because they can really go.
Waltrip's running not too far behind the 94, and they stay first and second in the race with now 197 laps complete. There you see the leader. Waltrip's 17 car a little further back. There he is in second. That gives you an idea of separation. Now the 94 comes in. Let's see if Waltrip will come in. No, Waltrip crosses the line. He stays out. Waltrip becomes first as the Hagen Races Enterprises team goes to work on pit road. Great run today by Sterling Marlin. New leader is number 17.
Watch how fast these guys change tires. It's unreal. Fill it with gas. They're waiting on gasoline now. The tires are changed. Everything's done. Fire on pit road.
There's a fire on pit road down around car number 14.
They're spraying. Everybody's there with the fire extinguishers. They have the fire under control. That's on A.J. Foyt's car.
Terry Leslie, the driver. ARCA champion a year ago.
Now watch them. They're going to jump on, put the tires on, and continue with business as usual. Can you do that?
Oh, that was a little worn.
They would be calling me Johnny Heart Attack if I'd have been standing by there.
A.J. Foyt giving this young Texan Terry Leslie an opportunity to run in the 600. He couldn't be here with the car. He thinks a lot of this young man and won the Automobile Racing Club of America championship a year ago. There he is, right back in the race, ready to dust it off.
Let's see crew chief Tex Powell's face right now.
All right, we're halfway. 200 laps have been completed. Just made the halfway mark. And Darrell Waltrip commands the 600. Come in, reestablishing the board. Let's go quickly to the STP Pit Center. Here's Mike Joy.
Ken, I'm with Harry Gant. The Skull Bandit is out of the race. Boy, tough day for you. That thing have a heart attack a little early?
Yeah, we were, sort of cooling there, hoping to be able to race hard the last 100, 150 miles. Car ran super. Andy Petrie and the Skull team and Leo Jackson, they had a super setup on the car. I think we had the car to beat by all means today.
Well, having been out there, what are we going to see the rest of this race, Harry? What kind of shape is the track in?
The track's in excellent shape. The tires are just terrific. The Goodyear tire, we had to worry about blistering them and blowing them out. Right now, though, I think Alan Kowicki and Rusty Wallace are going to be the cars that's going to be the quickest. What to say the outcome of the race will be, I don't know. 600 miles is a long way, but they're the quickest.
Well, now, why those two? I know the first 100 miles you try to get a chance to test everybody.
I think a lot of people have maybe got misled on their setup by practicing maybe too much Friday and Saturday. Their cars are sticking real well. The rest of the cars are either got a real bad push or real bad loose.
Well, back to Taylorsville and fry up a steak?
Yeah, we'll go back. We'll be back at Dover next week, and Skull Bandit team will be right up front again in our Oldsmobile.
Well, as they say, Ken, after every race, the clock turns back to 0.
Yes, indeed, and Harry Gant was calling the cars of Wallace and Kowicki, and there they are, running 1 and 2 with Earnhardt third and Elliott fourth with 205 laps complete, just past the midway mark. Let's take a look at that Goodyear mid-race report for the halfway distance in this race shortly. See what the figures are through 200 laps of competition on this 1.5-mile track. As we watch Wallace up in front, Kowicki in second, Dale Earnhardt in third, and Elliott right there in fourth spot. For all of these stops under green, this is an incredible race. They're still staying together. Only 2 cautions. Chris Economaki has a word about Darrell Waltrip.
We said earlier that Darrell Waltrip was coming in after all the other major cars had stopped. Everyone knows that Darrell is a money driver. At the 200th lap, the halfway mark, he was leading and collected a $10,000 award for leading at that point. The next lap, he made his pit stop for fuel and tires. A thinking driver, if there ever was one. Back to you, Ken.
That's exactly how he wins them all, Chris. He just is so patient, so methodical. always at least 40 miles ahead of himself.
He reminds me, and I've always been patient and methodical too, but I never have won anything. Waltrip went 12 more laps than Wallace did from the last pit stop, so he's getting tremendous gas mileage.
You can give a lot of credit to that to Randy Dorton, the engine builder, who's done such a great amount of work.
See, Randy Dorton probably is the best kept secret in motorsports outside of the garage area. Randy Dorton, his day in and day out, just keeps producing, and he'll be one of the greatest names in motorsports as far as engines are concerned.
Think he's going to have his own team sometime?
No, I think he's so loyal to Rick Hendricks and the group, and Rick treats his people right, and I don't think that ever crosses those people's minds. If you're in business with Rick Hendricks, you're basically family and a part of the company anyway.
Harry Hyde converted Randy Dorton from drag racing. He started out with Sox and Martin, and he is more than just his team's engine builder. He's the race day spotter standing up on the roof. And Walter talking about how good he is. Last year, they forgot to put the pins in the hood on a stop at Dover, Delaware last fall. And Dorton guided a sightless Waltrip all the way around the racetrack. A little more left here, a little more straight here. Got him all the way around and back to the pit. Darrell couldn't see a thing.
He's an interesting guy. He's kind of a Wally Cox, very quiet character, but he sure likes to put the power to the engine. Let's take a look now at that Goodyear mid-race report as these front four tighten up a little. Here is how they were running at halfway at the 200-lap distance today, with Wallace and Kowicki leading their entourage at 152-mile-an-hour average. Remember that the record for 600 miles is 145-mile-an-hour average by Richard Petty in 1975. There were 3 cautions in that race for a total of 12 laps. We've had 2 cautions today, total of 10, and we still have 39 cars remaining of the 42 that started. That's the incredible number. Only 3 have retired. There you saw them. Mears, Gann, Labonte out of it. Everybody else is still running, and both of those Aussies are still out here giving it their best shot. We just saw Alan Grice a moment ago looking pretty strong in the race. Here's the 27 and 7, your lead cars. Rusty Wallace in the Pontiac, Alan Kowicki in the Ford, continuing their confrontation up in front. And there is Alan Grice right in the bottom of the screen, who's traveled the furthest to be in the 600 today, all the way from New South Wales. And he's trying to gather as much experience as he possibly can to take home to Down Under for their great event in December.
It's really not that far away to Australia. It's only 24 hours by air.
213 laps are down, and there you see Bill Wallace lying fourth on a beautiful, clear day. Live coverage of the 600 on the Superstation.
Tonight on
Petty in car number 42.
Number 4
and car number 4, Wilson has just crashed in turn number 2. Petty has just spun in the grass across the start-finish line. Kyle Petty. They've had to come in and fix a windshield on his car that came out. There was no caution for him, but there certainly will be a caution for Rick Wilson in number 4, who has had a problem up in turn 1. It's brought him to rest in turn number 2.
I think he blew a right front tire. I could hear the tire explode before the car shot into the wall. You can see he's okay. I think he's got his arm out the window like he's relaxed. He's moving around, so I think Rick's okay.
Let's see if we can see what happened to car number 4, Rick Wilson. Scraping along the wall right in front of the condos in turn 1, going into turn 2. Right front tire down on car number 4, Rick Wilson, the Morgan McClure car.
Boy, they just can't get a break. You know, the car was so good and ran so well, and they probably just ran over some debris, cut a tire down, and boom, shoots the wall.
Pit road is closed as the field comes by. Rusty Wallace back to 4th now, and Alan Kowicki up on the point. Kowicki leading, Earnhardt 2nd, Bill Elliott 3rd, Wallace to 4th. As he had settled back. It looked like he almost let those cars come up through for a while. Willing to rest that Pontiac for a moment. And this Oldsmobile definitely in sorry straits after it collects the wall in the 1st and 2nd turn area, bringing out the 3rd caution of the day at lap 219.
That was unreal. Kyle Petty spun He came
through the
grass, turned backwards, the windshield blew out.
Let's take a look at what happened to Kyle Petty here. Here he is sliding through the grass. The windshield is already out of the car. He just picked it back up, drove all the way around the track, came in.
Watch this.
He was coming in.
They're saying, pit, Kyle, pit. And he drives right over, drives by. He didn't even lose a lap.
He didn't want to lose a lap. And just as that ended, we had car number 4 going into the wall, Rick Wilson.
If you go to your local Chevrolet dealership, how long would it take them to change your windshield?
More than it did Kyle Petty, that's for sure. Pit road is just being opened up to all of these cars. The old pace car coming down by, and here's the field rolling onto pit road. Car number 7, Kowicki is in, Elliott's in, Bodine, Rusty Wallace. Sterling Marlin comes in, and Darrell Waltrip. Here you are with Rusty Wallace. Right behind him by about 5 pits is Darrell Waltrip. Well, after last week's Winston, 2 Charlotte, North Carolina disc jockeys, John Boy and Billy of WRFX, the Fox, decided to document that controversy between Darrell Waltrip and Rusty Wallace in song. Their song, Our Pictures.
When Darrell went down to Charlotte, he was looking for a pole to steal. He was racing Tide, filled with pride. He wasn't going to make no deal. When it came across this young boy driving that Kodiak car real hot, and he pulled right up beside him there and said, boy, let me tell you what. I guess you didn't know it, but I'm a NASCAR driver too. And if you'd care to take a dare, I'll make a bet with you. Now, you drive pretty good NASCAR, boy, but give the Darrell his due. I bet a seat on the pole against your soul, because I think I'm better than you. The boy said,
my name's Rusty, and it might be a sin, but I'll take your Tide and whip your hide. I'm the best that's ever been. Fire on the racetrack, what a sight. The whole damn infield's in a fight. Quickie in the red band picking up dough. Kyle, does your car run? No child knows.
oh, hell, in the wall. Get me another car down here. Bring back another copy of my album. Like to listen to it on the Sony. Well, Darrell bowed his head because he knew that he'd been beat. Kept saying maybe I'd have won if Rusty didn't cheat. Rusty said,
Darrell, just come on back if you ever want to run with me. I done told you once before, old man, I'm a cocky SOB.
Fire on the racetrack, what a sight. Whole damn infield's in a fight.
There's the most popular song in Charlotte, North Carolina this week. Our thanks to Patty Wheeler, one of our associate producers, for a grand job of editing that all together. Those guys were pretty quick on the gun. They had that song out by Tuesday. Darrell Waltrip is on pit road, and the hood is up on car number 17. Here you see that Chevrolet is in there for an extended time. Chris Economaki is there.
Well, they're trying to find out what's wrong with the number 17 car. Jeff Hammond has a puzzled look on his face. The man is working on the right front suspension unit. They got some new springs down here. He's putting the pins back in. We're going to grab a hold of Hammond here after he gets back and find out exactly what this is. We can see the parts on the ground there. It looks like a lot of rubber had collected on the underside of the hood. Here comes Jeff now. Still looks very concerned. It may be that Darrell is going to come back in again next time around for more work. And one more. They're going to get another stop. They're going to get another stop in here for Darrell Waltrip. What's wrong, Jeff? What's the matter with it? The crew members here are working, you know, they're just following orders, throwing tools out there and so forth. They don't seem to know what the problem is. That Darrell's coming back in a second time. Back to you for the moment.
I think I heard him holler, sway bar, sway bar.
And that's to keep the car from swaying, that sway bar. Something to miss on the front end of car number 17.
Earnhardt's choked his down on pit road also. They're pushing, trying to get it started.
He led a lap to pick up 5 points, and here he is in trouble. Earnhardt being pushed and the crowd responding. Look at that crew trying desperately to get this thing to fire, and some other crew members from other teams coming out to assist.
I think that's fun. That's when you run out of gas almost, right? And then the whole thing, so they stopped. Now they're going to have to push it back, and this is where they could get lapped.
He's not gone a lap down, but he will go a lap down as the field is coming out of 4 if they can't get it fired in the next few seconds. Appears to be an ignition problem. See the man on the right side.
That's Will Lynn that just stuck his head in the door to try to get it fixed.
Field is coming down to the start-finish line. Earnhardt desperately trying to get going here and not go a lap down. Here's the field to the stripe. Still pushing number 3 on pit road, and it still fails to fire.
The sign just turned over. It was stopped. He lost a lap.
And there is Earnhardt's car being pushed back. It's going behind the wall. Dale Earnhardt in trouble here. The car going back to be worked on, an ignition problem on Earnhardt, the 1986 winner of the 600. Let's get a Goodyear update while we're under caution now. Here's Bob Goodrich.
Thanks, Ken. The 73rd edition of the Indianapolis 500 is now in the record books, and what an incredible finish in this one. Emerson Fittipaldi was dominant for most of the day, but late in the race, Al Unser Jr. reeled him in. They went wheel to wheel, actually collided. Al Jr. went off into the outside wall, knocked out of the race. Emerson Fittipaldi went on to take the checkered flag, so the first ever Indianapolis 500 win for 42-year-old Emerson Fittipaldi. Now, Fittipaldi's former racing colleagues, the Formula One boys, are down in Mexico City this weekend. Yesterday, the McLarens, once again, the team to beat. They were the top qualifiers. Alain Prost, the top qualifier with an average speed of just over 125 miles an hour. His teammate, Ayrton Senna, the number 2 man, Jonathan Palmer, in a Tyrrell Ford, number 3. Now, yesterday, the featured event here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway was the Champion Filter 300. 70,000 fans on hand on a beautiful day to watch this Grand National event. Less than 10 laps to go in this one. Rusty Wallace in the number 72 car leading Grand National regular Rob Moroso. The 20-year-old phenom dips to the inside, goes on to take the checkered flag, and shows everyone he is going to be a force to be reckoned with on this Winston Cup Tour before long. Well, that's it for this Goodyear update. Once again, Emerson Fittipaldi, the Indy 500 champion. Let's go back upstairs right now to Ken and Johnny.
Thanks, Bob. A.J. Foyt today, 5th at Indianapolis.
Is that wonderful?
That's great.
That's neat. That's a blow for senior citizens around the world. I love it, A.J.
There, huh?
Congratulations. Don't you know Chip Ganassi went crazy? He just bought that team from Pat Patrick. And I remember Chip Ganassi in Atlanta 2 years ago looking for a ride in a NASCAR.
Waltrip back in again. Let's go down on pit road to Chris Economy.
Well, this is remarkable here. He's still in the same lap. He had a right front sway bar bracket go bad. They replaced it on the last lap and found out they replaced the wrong part. He's in for the 3rd time under this yellow flag. Now the hood goes down. He's going back out. It's said that this part has been broken for better than 100 laps. So once it's put back together, if it's put back together correctly, he should be a tiger on the track. He has not lost a lap as he pulls out of the pits. Back to you.
Field coming down toward the start-finish line, and he is away. 337 miles are complete. Elliott will be leading. Kulwicki will be in 2nd. Bodine 3rd. Rusty Wallace 4th. Sterling Marlin 5th. Davey Allison 6th. Morgan Shepherd 7th. In 8th would be Mark Martin. 9th is Lake Speed. 10th, Ken Schrader. 11th, Brett Bodine. 12th, Michael Waltrip. 13th will be Darrell, all in the lead lap. 1 lap down, and 14th is Dick Trickle. 15th is Bobby Hillen Jr. And running 16th is Neil Bonnet at the present time. Dale Earnhardt's car continues to be worked on. Meanwhile, the number 17 car is coming back down pit road another time. Waltrip pulling in as they continue to work on that machine. They know right where they want to go. Trying to get him back to see if he can win his 5th 600 this afternoon. 226 now down.
Well, we'll find out for sure what Darrell Waltrip has now because he's down a lap, and he will.
Down a lap? I thought he stayed in that lap.
Did he stay in the lead lap?
I believe he's still up there.
Okay. I was starting to say if he was down one, he could, we'd find out what he has.
Continuing to work on car number 17. There you see Darrell Waltrip. A little desperate now as the field is coming out of turn number 4. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Is in the Richard Petty pits. He's preparing to get in the STP Pontiac for Richard Petty. No word yet why. Richard's getting out of the car. Jimmy Means is going to get in the STP back in relief.
Waltrip is back on. He does not lose a lap. Car number 17 coming out. Let's see if we can get a report from Chris Economaki to see if they've got this car remedied. We're getting ready to go racing here, I believe, shortly. They're doubling up right now. Waltrip is away.
Whoa, we have a problem, and someone rammed right in behind. You can see back in that back crew, somebody trying to force their way through. There was big contact and a lot of smoke. They've got it straightened out now.
Going green this time by, but there was a real savage ramp in the back of the field. Chris Economaki, are you there?
Okay.
Chris?
Yes.
Are they all set on 17?
Yeah, I got Jeff right here. Give it to me.
Well, let's go down to Chris Economaki. Chris, what's
Jeff,
the
I'm
story?
here with Jeff Hammond. Jeff, what exactly was the trouble?
Well, what happened, Chris, was the sway bar, either got knocked off or something, but it came loose and we couldn't get it back on, so we had to change it, put another new arm on it. But we got it fixed right now. I believe we're going to be okay.
Why did it take so long?
Say?
Why did it take so long?
Well, see, we couldn't get the old one off. It was bent so bad back beneath the steering linkers, we had to took us a little longer to get it loose from what we were planning.
Great work and good luck. There you have it from Darrell's crew chief, and Darrell is still in the same lap with the leaders. Back to you.
Yes, he's running in 13th position, Chris, as they come down to the line. Tremendous work by Jeff Hammond and company. Here they come to the stripe. Rick Wilson was treated and released from the infield medical center here after that crash he took up in turns 1 and 2. On the breakaway, Bill Elliott first, Alan Kowicki second, Fords 1 and 2. Chevrolet third with Bodine, Rusty Wallace's Pontiac fourth, and the Oldsmobile of Sterling Marlin is fifth with Davey Allison in sixth. Back straightaway, and we're seeing Bill Elliott out in front, commanding at this point. 228 laps deep into the 30th run into the 600, 342 miles down. Through the stripe, Elliott first, Kowicki second, Bodine third, 13 cars in the lead lap. It's been an incredible race, incident-free for the most part in the first half of the event. Only 2 cautions, both for minor incidents. Most serious incident to date, Rick Wilson just crashing in turns 1 and 2. The race has been dominated in the early going by that number 7 of Alan Kowicki. Rusty Wallace has played a major part up in front, but the big story is the 17 car, which is now coming from 13th place, fighting his way up through. He's in that lead lap, trying to close in, get himself another spot. He's closing now. He's taken Michael Waltrip, and he's moving in on number 15, Brett Bodine. Back straightaway. Here's the struggle. Bodine goes to the inside as he puts a lap on number 10, Derek Cope from Spanaway, Washington, and Waltrip is coming with him. Meanwhile, battle for third. Bodine in third. Wallace trying to take it away from him, and Sterling Marlin, the blue and yellow number 94 right there. Michael Waltrip is pitting. He had been running in 12th. Michael Waltrip is now on pit road. Back straightaway, Bodine third, Wallace in the 27 fourth, and it's Sterling Marlin in fifth. The leader continues to be car number 9, Bill Elliott, up in front. And there's Kowicki right with him. Alan Kowicki goes back after Elliott.
It's fun to see Bill Elliott back up front in a Winston Cup race on the big track. He's struggled all year. He was injured early. He's now healed, and it's really neat to see the man back where he belongs.
Michael Waltrip back on the track. You can see him just pulling onto the Speedway from pit road. Bill Elliott stays up in front. Kowicki in second. Remember that Elliott has never won this one. Come close, but never won it. Last lap at 167 miles an hour. And Waltrip back in 12th. Looks like he's building to bust up through traffic. We'll see in a moment. It's that Motor Speedway where Alan Kowicki has just put the shoulder to Bill Elliott and taken the lead. Take a look at what happened in lap 235. There's Kowicki, number 7 on the inside.
Touch, contact.
And away from another angle. And that's better than 160 miles per hour on this 1.5 mile track. Here they were, nosing in, wheel to wheel. And they begin to scrape paint.
See Alan come up. Alan Kowicki college graduate engineer. He looks like a good old street fighter from down south.
That True Value Hard Charger Award, Mr. Kowicki is really charging, and there's still a long way to go.
Those old college boys can be tough too, I guess.
238 down as Kowicki leads with Elliott in second. Coming back live now with Jeff Bodine in third, Sterling Marlin fourth, Rusty Wallace fifth, Davey Allison sixth. Darrell Waltrip further back in the field. What an onslaught he is. He has just pulled around. Hut Strickland gave him a pretty good scrap, a lap down. He has now moved around the 15 car of Brett Bodine to take over in 11th spot. Leaders. There are the leaders. And there is first and second. And there is Waltrip just around Brett Bodine. Into 11th. Waltrip circulating. Now looking for Lake speed. The next man he needs. Lake is in 10th spot in car number 83. Look at Rusty Wallace go wheel to wheel here with Davey Allison. This is 5th spot. 5th position in question. Wallace takes it. On the outside, the Pontiac around, and Mark Martin's coming up through. He's running 7th. 2 Fords trailing that number 27 Pontiac. Jeff Bodine's number 5 is third. Sterling Marlin in 94 creeps up on him, perched on the rear bumper. Turn 3. Marlin starting to reel in Bodine, but he now has his own problems. Well, here comes Rusty Wallace to the inside. Rusty Wallace measuring Marlin, coming down the main straightaway. Maneuvers down to the bottom of the track in 1. He's got it. But Marlin is driving a magnificent event here today. Here he comes back again. Sterling Marlin. One of his best days in that Billy Hagan car.
Sterling got a great jump running up high. Rusty got up under him, but Sterling just kept it up.
Here comes Wallace to the inside.
Wallace smoked the tires a little bit that time he drove in so hard.
I think they were going for the finish. They're 243 laps, 364 miles in, 235 miles to go, and it looks like the last 5 laps.
See, it looks like he has him cleared, and then all of a sudden Sterling last time shot right down and by him back. Well, he pulls over this time. He got clear.
That's Wallace in number 27, back to 4th. There you see the number 5, Bodine in 3rd. There you see the 27 car up to 4th. Marlin falls to 5th. Here's Darrell Waltrip still trying to close in on 83. And Brett Bodine staying right with him. Dale Earnhardt dropped the valve in car number 3. That's the story on the Earnhardt car, which we saw as that crew dramatically pushing it down pit road, trying to get him going, but not to be. There's the 17 car, and he's got about 3.5 seconds to make up if he intends to catch Lake speed, and indeed he does. Battle for 3rd. Here's Bodine in the number 5 Chevrolet, going around Byers in the 06 and 27 Wallace. Trying to shorten the distance as they come down this main sold-out grandstand in Charlotte, North Carolina. Coca-Cola 600 today, live here on the Superstation. Kowicki continues to set the pace. Elliott stays in second. Kowicki has been remarkable since the outset. He's run the car hard. He's been relentless. And that number 7 continues to stay under him. They said you couldn't win this without being patient. Kowicki, who usually is one of the most patient, is running one of the hardest races we've ever seen him on this distance. Look at Wallace come back. As folks are looking on, no one's leaving this one.
I agree. I've never seen Alan Kowicki so aggressive And I'm sure he'll tell us later that he wasn't, oh, here we got a big jump. Did you see how he buried that car on the bottom? Rusty Wallace just buried it below the white line and jumped by Jeff Bodine.
So Wallace takes over in third. Bodine is back to fourth. Don't count Bodine out of this thing. I don't think he's willing to mix it up right now.
Rusty just got impatient. And Ken, I think that's what he was talking about early when he says, I don't like the pre-race, I don't like all that. It's not that he hates it per se, he just hates not being in that race car. We had a red flag at Riverside, California last June, and Rusty stood around, and when they said, back to your car, he started walking the 500 feet toward it, then he started jogging, and he ended up in a full run. He just wanted to get back in it and get back at it, and he just couldn't stand being behind Bodine. So zoom, underneath, and gone. And now he's going to go race for a while, and then perhaps he'll settle it back down to a pace.
A real scooter, this guy Wallace, who comes around to complete 250 laps for the leaders this time, 375 miles down.
Rusty has a little brother, Kenny, that's just cut from the same cloth. He's just as aggressive. He's just as hyper.
Dick Trickle slowing down to number 84 here, John. Excuse me, but that's Dick Trickle.
Looks like he has a left front tire down.
Meanwhile, here comes Sterling Marlin, zooms down to the bottom of the track, zips up there looking for that next position, which would be 4. Bodine gives him a bit of a scramble. Very conscientious drive today by Jeff Bodine. He is a tremendously aggressive driver. He always was on the short tracks as a modified campaigner when we saw him up in the Northeast. But he's willing to give a little ground at this point. There's still a lot of miles to go in the 600. Mark Martin coming along. Remember, he's made up a lap today and is running in 6th. And the man in 7th has also made up 1 lap, Ken Schrader, who at the outset we said would be one of the candidates to take this one home when it was over. Here, Martin moving in again. Here is Bill Elliott in the number 9 car, running in 2nd place. Right behind him comes Rusty Wallace, who looks like he wants to make a move on that Ford. Down they go out of turn number 2. Wallace to the bottom of the racetrack. Here he comes, Rusty Wallace, circulating down on the lower side. Has himself into 2nd, but can he stay there? Elliott lets him go for the moment.
That's exactly what he did. Bill Elliott's not going to fight. He knows we still have a long way to go, and he would just ride there comfortably until he feels the opportunity is good for him.
Bill Elliott now in 3rd spot. Is this year's Thunderbird much different from latter years, Bill?
It's a lot different. I ain't been able to get a handle of what I need out of this particular race car. You know, all the things that's happened to us has really got us behind as far as developing and learning more about the particular car, but we keep working on it. We've run probably over 600 miles of testing here this week, you know, trying to get things sorted out, and we've had every spring in the truck under the car, and we've just trying to learn different things about the race car.
Chris Economaki has more.
Ernie? Oops, I thought I had more, but the crew chief has just pulled away. Ernie Elliott.
A car has hit the wall in turn 2.
Coming over the radio.
Eddie Bearswale has tagged the wall in turn number 3. He's rolling down the back straightaway. No sign of a caution as yet. You can see the front end badly scraped up on Eddie Bearswale's car. There's the passing flag, the move-over flag, but no sign of a caution today. He has it down to the inside. We may keep it running here. We may stay under green. Eddie Bearswale, out of Texas, has scraped up the right side of car number 23. He pulls down, and apparently we're not going to get a caution. Look at average speed in a moment. Here's that battle for 3rd. Sterling Marlin, with a great run, pulls himself up into 3rd. Bill Elliott settles for 4th. Now here's a complete rundown on everyone on the field. You folks who have heroes that may not be in this top 8 or 9, where there is such a tremendous battle going on today. Those are the cars in the lead lap. Now we're going a lap down here. Let's get to 16th, 17th. Rick Mast running in 18th today. Ernie Irvine back there too. Bud Strickland having a good day. But the guy that is having a terrific run right now, caution is out. Caution is coming on. Yellow is coming out. That'll be the 4th time this afternoon. Comes out for number 23, Bearswale.
I'm sure that's for debris on the track, and that drivers, as they go by, they see things, and they're calling their crew chief.
The debris is car number 23. The poor thing came to a rest, and we'll have to come back and see how things go from here with another complete restart.
Off pit road, Sterling Marlin, the first out, followed by Alan Kulwicki. Rick Wilson has joined us, and it looked like your Kodak Olds had its film overexposed up there in the turn one wall. What happened?
Well, we come down the front straightaway and must have run over some debris or whatever and blew the right front tire. And that's the only thing I can figure, because we haven't had any problems all day long with tires, and it was just one of them deals today that I hit it or whatever and blew the right front tire and went to the fence.
Now, the damage isn't necessarily terminal.
Well, we're going to try to get back out. You know, the car's hurt real bad. We're just going to try to get back out, and so we can get some points and, you know, just make as many laps as we can for the, you know, not championship, but for the points.
Tell me about Alan Cole. Well, excuse me. Let's go back upstairs.
Thanks very much, Rick. Here's Richard Petty in for oxygen, and Jimmy Means has stepped into his car. Just telling you, Jimmy Means is now in the car. Richard Petty taking oxygen, and here's the car rolling back out onto the track. Remember that carbon monoxide poisoning story earlier this year? Now, they've been using a mask with Richard in an effort to try to give him cleaner air. Let's go quickly to Mike Joy again.
Thanks, Ken. With Rick Wilson again. You have raced hard against Alan Kulwicki for half of this afternoon. You guys traded a little paint, ran hard from the lead. What has he got?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's awful strong. He's working as good as any car I've seen, even my car at times, through the corners. But down that straightaway, he is awesome. That was the deal when I was running with him. I could run on him in the corners and catch up on him, but when he got that forward turn straight, you know, that Moses Bellamine didn't have a chance with him.
Okay, thank you. Rick Wilson.
12 cars remain on the lead lap. Bad day for Rick Wilson. I hope he has a good one soon. 12 cars remain up on the point. 259 laps complete. Dr. Jerry Punch is well known to racing fans. Is pit reporter for several networks. Dr. Punch has become more than just a voice at the track. And recently, Dr. Dwayne Giles of the U.S. Air Force honored Dr. Punch for his contribution to stock car racing.
Thank you, Ken. Dr. Jerry Punch, it is indeed a pleasure to honor you as an outstanding NASCAR physician and sportscaster. As the Air Force Reserve has a critical need for doctors, nurses, and medical technicians, you have fulfilled that need for auto racing. Since 1977, you've been on the spot in case of emergencies, helping to save the lives of at least 2 drivers. We in the Air Force Reserve appreciate your help in recruiting, and it's my pleasure to present you this Outstanding Performance Award.
Thank you very much, Colonel Giles. I will cherish this award for a long, long time. I'm indeed flattered and privileged to receive this award. And again, I would like to say thank you to you, and thank you to the fine folks at the Air Force Reserve for thinking of me. I am indeed quite honored. Thank you.
Thank you. Jerry Punch, who's really made a major contribution in so many ways to motorsports. Congratulations, Jerry. It's certainly well deserved. 259 laps are complete. 388.5 miles. Richard Petty still getting over some exhaustion, heat exhaustion out here today. And that carbon monoxide story, I still think, is a major factor here. And as one gets to 52 years of age, they say that count goes up much quicker, that monoxide count, and it may have caught Richard again today.
Well, my feeling is most of the time when a driver has to get out of the race car, they have a problem with where they have a hole in the bottom of the car or something happens that all that heat's coming right in on them so much. I believe that's what it's the heat from the car and the motor, not so much from outside.
Although the exhaust on the side of those cars can be a factor. If you're running beside people in a 1.5-mile track like this, it can be it can really be significant. As we get ready for restart, Sterling Marlin will be in front with Alan Kulwicki second and Jeff Woodine third. We get these nice pictures from Phil Parsons, car number 55, warming up his tires here in the back straightaway. Here's Mike at the STP pit center.
Well, Ken, let's see if on fresh tires Sterling Marlin can win his crew each. A Timex Speed Track Speed computer. Alan Kulwicki still has the quickest lap of the day, 32.25 seconds, 167.4 miles an hour. Right now, Marlin is second on that list, and with 4 fresh tires, we'll see in a moment if he can pick up the pace.
390 miles complete, and from Phil Parsons' vantage point, propped down on the inside, one of the lap cars there. Here's how the start looks as you're live inside Phil Parsons' car coming for the green. Across the stripe. That's how he sees the start, diving into turn number 1. There you see Bill Elliott just off his bow. in 5th position. Back into the back straightaway.
You notice how they will hold their line because they're a lap down. They'll let those fast cars in the lead lap, even though they may be just as fast, they will let those cars get on by. They do not want to interfere, hold them up, because they know they don't have a chance of getting their lap back at this time.
Schrader made a nice jump. He had started 6th. He's picked up a couple. Look at Schrader down to the inside. Schrader is really fun to watch race. Here's Phil Parsons' car from which we're getting those pictures. He sorts himself out, goes up underneath Hut Strickland in the 57. Let's take a look up front. Here's how things are pictured. Sterling Marlin in front. Kowicki continuing to click him off in that 2nd spot with Bodine in 3rd and Wallace in 4th. Back to the line. Bill Elliott. I would say he is a major candidate, Elliott, in the 9 car to win this. He lies back there in 5th. But Sterling Marlin has given just a tremendous performance throughout this race. He's waited. Now we're past the halfway mark, and I think he has instructions to see just how much he can do with this car number 94, this Oldsmobile that currently leads the $800,000 Coca-Cola 600 here at Charlotte. There's the 5-6 car length advantage over Kowicki. Here's Elliott in the 9, about to put a lap on Bobby Hillen, who is running in 13th, shown 1 lap down.
They just let us know that Dale Earnhardt is out of the race and will not come back, so that'll certainly hurt his points.
Coming into today's race, he had 1,376 points and was leading by, 77 points over Waltrip in 2nd at 12.99, and Jeff Bodine was 3rd.
So we could have a new points leader if one of these fellows can pull it off.
And of course, the man who wins the points this year goes to the Waldorf Astoria in New York in December, is guaranteed $1 million.
Yeah, Winston's just going to pay him you basic $1 million. You know, I'm sure that's just what Freddie Lorenzen made a year in the old days.
Here is number 6, down to the inside, putting with a lap on Hillen, Mark Martin. And he pulls up on Schrader. That is Mark Martin in 7th, car number 6, the Jack Roush Ford, and I believe this is as good as we've seen deep. That car number 6, this is a really tremendous run in a major super speedway event. Here he comes, closing in on Schrader again. That car looks tough today. They took a year to sort it out. They've been winning some poles, and they just get stronger and stronger. Jack Roush is one who has, 2 teams, 1 to race and 1 to practice.
Yeah, the testing. Whoa!
Elliott down to the inside on Bodine. Martin a little loose for a second. A lot of squirrely cars up there in 4th.
Martin tapped Schrader in the rear, but the great thing, Martin immediately got out of it, let Schrader straighten it out, and they went back to racing. The 6 car is Mark Martin, the 25 car Ken Schrader. Now here they're going to just go 3 wide.
All of this for 4th place. There's some distance to run. Bodine has it. Look at this scramble. Martin to the inside. Underneath Elliott, comes up on Schrader. Bodine pulls away. He secures 4th for a moment.
Oh, they touch.
Yeah, they banging on each other. Down the main straightaway.
Pushing right to the wall. They both lost it, not on purpose. The 6 car just got a little loose and hit the 25 car, but there was nowhere to go.
Bombarding into the back straightaway. Here's Schrader blasting back around. Car number 6, Mark Martin. Dandy scrap. 25, Ken Schrader. Stays right in there.
Yes, Dale Earnhardt, as you recall, Ken, he came in for a pit stop. They were pushing down pit road. They could not get it refired. They found out that he did drop a valve, and he is out of the race for today. So
And car number 31 is going. We got a car blowing an engine right across the start-finish line. Number 83 trying to hold it down. I think he's got some oil in the rear tires. No caution as yet. Still no caution out. He's trying to get down to the bottom. Almost gets overrun by O'Neill.
There's definitely oil dropped on the racetrack.
I wonder why he stays out above the line. Race to the flag, coming back to the stripe. No caution out. Just in case. Kowicki really turned the wick up going down. Here's 83, Lake Speed.
But this
straightaway.
This kind of thing scares me because Speed was going all over the place. And if he drops a little bit of oil, you go in and you bury it and lose your race car, then so long.
Of course, Lake had been running right up there in 11th spot. No caution out, and there's the lead. Marlin the Olds, Kowicki in the Ford continue the contest for first place. Let's go to Steve Byrne for a moment.
Richard Petty looked like he went 15 rounds with Mike Tyson just a moment ago. Richard, what happened? What seems to be the problem with you?
I just got sick on my stomach. I don't know what happened. Wasn't that hot out there. Everything was going pretty good as far as, you know, the way I felt and stuff. And all of a sudden, I got an upset stomach. And I was trying to throw up. There's nothing to throw up and kind of blurring your vision and stuff. I said, the heck with it. So we come in, put Jimmy in.
Richard, can you get back in the car today?
Well, I don't know. No, but as far as we are behind, as good a job as Jimmy's doing, we'll probably just leave him in there.
Back up and get it, John.
Sterling Marlin's stomach is a little upset here. You could see him have a little trouble, and he's backing out of it a bit. Sterling Marlin is slowing down in turn number 2, and here are your leaders. Kowicki back in front, and Wallace into second place another time. 272 laps now complete in the 600. We're better than 400 miles into it. And here comes Wallace, challenging still another time in the 600. We are under caution. Watching Rusty Wallace on pit road. His major adversary thus far, Alan Kowicki, stays on the track in first place with car number 7. As to what created this caution, let's take a look now. This car, number 47, Alan Grice, had a problem. Take a look at it. Apparently, when the 71 came around him, Dave Marcus just pulled the air out from underneath, and away he went.
I think what he tried to do, he was driving it in fast, and I think what he tried to do was to cut it down, and it just locked it down too much, and the rear end came around on it. Great job there of Larry Pearson missing him, and Rick Mask in the banquet food car comes right by and misses him too. So
pretty wild dance down through there. Sashaying about car number 47. Coming to rest. They've changed the tires. He's back out again and ready to give it another go. Tough Aussie. Alan Grice. This is his rookie race in the 600. He ran the 500 last year, I believe, and had that finishing position. Here is Grice coming back in another time. We'll be back with more from Charlotte in just a moment.
Martin did not pit. They stayed on the racetrack. We're back under green. They've jumped away from the field. Dale Earnhardt, after leaving his car, ran to the truck, changed clothes, and he's now left the Speedway. Chris Economaki is with his car owner, Richard Childress.
Well, Richard Childress, like Dale Earnhardt, headed for the showers. I'm here with what's left of the Lumina, the business end. The crew doesn't know what happened. Something in the engine room let Dale Earnhardt down. He's gone, left the grounds, they say. He's just quite unhappy. There you see a man adjusting the left front suspension on this car that so many people hoped would win. After all, this is Dale Earnhardt's home track. Back to you, Ken.
Well, there you see the leaders, car number 7 and number 6, Fords again. That's Kowicki and Martin. As to the other major Ford, car number 9, Bill Elliott, he was penalized 15 seconds for too many men over the wall, and that's dropped him back to 11th position. And here, from the Crown Petroleum car with Bill Parsons at the keyboard, you have a picture of what Elliott faces as he tries to move back up through traffic. There's Bill Elliott moving in on Ricky Rudd, trying to put him another lap down. Things have not gone well for Ricky Rudd again today in car number 26. The man that had been directly in front of Elliott was 17, Waltrip, but he's off to the races. He's scampered back up through traffic. And the man that is next on Elliott's agenda would be car number 15, Brett Bodine. The Bud Moore car, the red and white number 15. Here's Elliott trying to get around some lap cars and being very careful, very particular where he puts his wheels. He still intends to be around to the finish of this one. There are 281 of 400 laps complete. We're 421 miles deep. There remain 119 laps to go on the 1.5 mile, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Superstation, bringing you live coverage today.
That looks a little bit like the pole, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And wasn't that the front row when we started?
Just exactly what the front row was. When the outset came, we saw Kowicki on the point and Mark Martin flanking him. And here they are, running 1 and 2. The surprise of surprises, car number 75 is spotted as third right now. Morgan's car. All that stop. moving around for the caution period.
And you know what? Morgan's running well. He's run well all day. He's just not been in the right spot. He may have been hiding out back there in the pack a little bit because he's certainly keeping up.
Well, he's had a fourth-place finish. Remember, Talladega, he had a good run this year. They're the two leaders.
Well, Butch Mock and Bob Rahilly have an excellent race team, and Morgan Shepherd, I think, is one of the best race car drivers out there. It's just making things work.
Ooh, Martin a little loose there off that turn. Rahilly is also the guy responsible for Grice's car, that Australian number 47 that we just saw spinning. Here comes Mark Martin down to the bottom. Boy, and we saw a little bit of smoke rippling out of the back of car number 7. That was tire smoke, but they just continue to stand on it out here today. I think Alan Kowicki has really thrown a curve to these guys. And here's Bodine and Wallace at it for 4th spot.
I like to see these two guys race with each other because they really go at it. They're both aggressive, hard chargers, and neither one of them will give an inch. So they give you good, hard racing.
Averaging 166 miles an hour. Right behind that pair comes 94. Showing a good run today. Marlin staying right there with them. And Davey Allison. Followed by Darrell Waltrip.
It's a good group.
Bodine is 4th in the 5 car. Here comes Wallace up on the outside. He's in 6th. Right behind him is Sterling Marlin in 7th, and there goes Wallace.
You know what's really neat? We still have 9 cars in this race legitimately that have a great shot at winning this race. This late in a race, you usually get down to 3 or 4, but so many cars are still running good, Ken.
And a total of 11 on the lead lap, John. Here's 94. Marlin coming to the inside. Sterling Marlin turns it up a notch. He goes up underneath Bodine, and Davey Allison coming with him, along with Walter. So, as dropping to the inside goes Sterling Marlin in the 94. That is the contest for 4th position.
Now look at that racing. Both groups, there's 4 cars side by side. They're giving each other plenty of room. And I mean, that is just awesome to watch. I don't know how they control them and can keep them in those lines that way.
Back to the stripe they come with 2 Fords out in front. In the 75 car, Morgan's Pontiac. Let's not forget that Rusty Wallace had moved into 4th. That contest is for 5th right there. Number 5 on the outside. Fighting for 5th with 94 on the inside, Sterling Marlin. The 28 car on the outside in the 2nd row back is Davey Allison. And, of course, that red number 17 is Waltrip. All bunched together 400 miles into the race.
You know, everybody feels so sorry for these drivers to have to go 600 miles.
This is the guy we haven't seen for a while.
Everybody says they go 600 miles. It's so tough. What about these fans that stand up for 5 hours? Nobody's sitting down. That's how good the racing is. Every person in the place is standing up, and the main thing they love to watch is that battle.
And this guy is beginning to figure into it. He's played it very carefully all day. Number 75, Morgan Shepherd, sees his car now 3rd. Look at this scramble continue just behind Morgan Shepherd.
See, that's been 4 laps, and they will not get in line. Now we've got another car jumping in, Schrader, and now we have a 5-car battle right there, and they're really getting after each other.
Wallace just in front of them in 4th, and back there in 5th. It's Bodine, Marlin, Allison, Waltrip, Schrader. And very shortly, Elliott will catch up with that contingent. Here's the 5 to the outside.
You can see how that slows everyone down when they're racing side by side. Rusty Wallace is pulled off by 3 seconds from Jeff Bodine, where they were racing close just a second ago. When you run side by side, it slows everyone down. It just can't go as fast.
Sterling Marlin now picks up another position around Bodine. He takes 5th.
Well, I think this kind of racing really, this is when you're using up your race car. We've been talking all day, these guys' philosophy is saving cars, let's take care of it. When you're racing door to door, driving it as hard as you can, you're using up tires, you're punishing everything on the car. So now they're all in a straight line. This is the best way to go, but it's not the same. When they race side by side hard, it uses up equipment.
Look at 17 going up on the outside, and Allison. Here comes number 17, Waltrip, for another spot. Waltrip around Davey Allison, back for 7th. And closes on Bodine. While that is happening, Up in front, Rusty Wallace has moved around Morgan Shepherd. Number 27, Wallace is now third. Morgan Shepherd falls back to fourth and may come into the clutches of this pack running together in the fifth position. Wallace is just having a tremendous day.
Michael Waltrip just came down pit road and has parked his car. They're not changing tires, they're checking it, so they've had a smoking problem all day, so they seem to have a major problem.
Let's not forget the leaders. Here they are at 293 laps complete. Alan Kowicki and Mark Martin, who faced off in all those ASA races out in the Midwest, now go at it here again at Charlotte today, and look at this battle.
And Rusty Wallace, who used to race them in ASA, is running both of those cars down. Rusty's gaining on them quickly.
Rusty Wallace maintaining third spot. There are the two leaders going into turn 3. Kowicki, Martin, and to the inside, and again you see that smoke boiling out of the back of car number 7.
Ken, I don't know what's happened in Johnny Hayes' good old Southern sport. Here's a fella from Wisconsin, leading a guy who did most of his racing in Indiana, and hard charging is a driver from Missouri. But let's talk for just a second about longevity. This season in the 5 races to date, Alan Kulwicki has finished all 5. He has just one top 5 run, a second place, whereas Martin is only 3 for 5 in the finishing race department, and this is the longest race of the year. They're running awfully hard, and as John said, using up a lot of car right now.
Wild slide by car number 6, and one more of those, and car number 27 will be moving up. Meanwhile, back for the car number 17. There goes Waltrip for 5th place, up on Sterling Marlin, swapping positions, lap after lap, turn after turn. Marlin's coming back again for 5th.
Can you believe this?
Then out behind them comes Jeff Bodine. Doesn't matter when you go away to commercial here, you're going to miss a pass because they just aren't giving up on each other.
I really understand how football coaches would be trying to coach Dick Butkus. The logic is to take care of your car, not force it. They all force it, chase it, and that's why we all pay to see this stuff and love it so much.
Here you see Waltrip back into 5th. Marlin is in 6th, and just behind him, poor Jeff Bodine, he has his teammate up underneath him now. Here comes Schrader to the inside, and Davey Allison just keeps on looking. Down to the inside, Ken Schrader. Both Hendrick Stable racing cars side by side.
His teammate, all he's got to do is just let him pull up there and he's okay. But no, he drove him dead in all the way, but he did get under him.
So Schrader picks up another spot. He's in the 7th. Bodine goes back to 8th. Davey Allison is 9th. Brett Bodine is in 10th. And Bill Elliott stands 11th on the field. And all those 11 are major contenders to win this thing.
I think all of the Hendricks teams, since he owns 3 teams, but I really think the drivers really
Allison's
fight for
slowing
his
down.
attention.
Davey Allison's number 28 comes off the pace.
Yeah, and I don't believe this is a tire. This must be a motor problem because he is really off the pace.
Robert Gates' car coming slowly. Oh, that's unfortunate for Davey Allison. His dad looking on from the condominiums down in turn number 1. Here's Davey Allison coming onto pit road. Running 9th when this occasion happened to him.
Davey just off his big Talladega win. They were so excited over that.
Right to the garage.
Yeah, it's going in.
That happens in lap 297.
We're getting later in the race, and this is when cars really start to have mechanical problems.
See a new grandstand down there in turn number 1 for those little suites over there. That's all going to be grandstand, they say, another year. Car number 7 stays in front. Kowicki. Martin stays in 2nd as the Fords continue to roll out in the lead here today.
I think Mark, he was getting more and more tire smoke, and I think he heated those tires up so much, and he tried to make a move on Allen coming out of 4, and the car just let out from under him. It scared him a little bit, but now he's coming back.
We're at lap 300. I would think about another 25, 26 laps we'll see these cars back on pit road for some more fuel. Here are the leaders, 7 and 6. Kowicki and Martin. And they just stay up in front in a race unto themselves. Meanwhile, it continues to be Fisk City a little further back. Wallace is trying to run those 2 leaders down at this moment. They come to the stripe. Wallace has one lap car, Chad Little, between himself and the two leaders. And Morgan Shepherd is slowing down. Morgan Shepherd's going into turn number 1. The fourth place car eases to the bottom of the racetrack in turns 1 and 2.
He has lost a motor. I could see the smoke coming out of the pipe. It looked like a little fluid was dropped.
Car number 75, Morgan Shepherd, who's tried time and time again to come through here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. He's won in the 300-mile race on a couple of occasions, but he won't be around in this one. He picks up a little speed here, trying to come back, but something was really amiss. He came totally out of it last time by and is falling rapidly toward the rear. Here he is in the bottom of the racetrack, completing another lap, but he's fallen back several positions, and now you see the death signs of car number 75. A lot of smoke that time as he decelerated just a bit. 302 laps are now down. So we're getting close to that 500-mile mark. 453 are complete. 453 miles have been run. Car number 53, O'Neill, which spun early in the going. He's finally retiring from the race. 9 cars have thus far called it quits. Lake Speed will be coming back out in number 83. He'll be laps down, but going for points. There are the two leaders, and you can see the third place car, the white number 27, closing in on Kulwicki and Martin in the 600. John Wallace ran into trouble. Motor problems. He's gone back behind the wall. I would assume they're going to try to get that fixed and try to have him pick up some points. He didn't look very happy about it. Chris Economaki is down there. Chris, what's the story?
Rusty, what's the problem?
I think it broke a valve, Chris. I'm not for sure. Looks like that's what happened. We don't know. I'll let you know in a little bit.
All right, it's down in the mouth, but there it is. Under the hood problems right from Rusty. Well, let's go down pit road to Steve Burns.
With Davey Allison. Davey, tough break. You were running in the top 10 when you came out. What happened to your car?
Well, something let go in the engine in our Texaco Haviland Thunderbird. I got so many things on my mind right now I can't even think straight, but something let go in the engine. No warning. I don't know what it was. It locked up going in the first turn. I had to jump on the clutch and keep from spinning out, causing problems for everybody else. And I hate it for Robert and all the guys on the crew because they've worked awful hard. And, you know, we ran hard all day. It just wasn't our day.
And the garage area is becoming suddenly a very busy place.
Engines erupting everywhere. This man, number 7, Alan Kulwicki, continues to run his flat-footed around this mile-and-a-half track. He has said that what he wants to do is to be consistent, to contend at the end of every event. But that's not been the case today. He's been a contender from the outset. He just hasn't relented in his effort to win this race. Alan Kulwicki stays in front, Martin in second. Again, here's Chris.
Well, for a strategy standpoint, I just checked with the crew chief for Alan Kulwicki. He says they have to make 2 more fuel stops. But Jeff Hammond, Waltrip's crew chief, says they can go to the checker with 1 more fuel stop, and that's where that mileage is going to pay off. Back to you, Ken.
John, how do you feel about that? You think that's the story?
Well, yeah, that's the way they planned. But if Darrell Waltrip, like I say, they study, but I guess what Kulwicki will have to hope that there's a caution comes or something where everybody will be required to make those stops.
Darrell Waltrip has taken over in 3rd position with car number 17 behind these 2 leaders. And he is running, maybe a half second back from the pair that run out in front. Ford Chevrolet now on the board. And then Schrader is 4th. Sterling Marlin comes to 5th. Jeff Bodine to 6th. And Bill Elliott in the number 9 car is in 7th. He lies about 15, 16 car lengths behind Bodine, and the battle will begin to develop again between 94, 5, and 9. I would say that's about 8, 10 laps away. Let's go to Mike Joy.
Ken, the odds are getting long on Alan Kulwicki. Our True Value Hard Charger board tells the story. Kulwicki's been all out front most of the day, so he's at the top of the board. But here's Rusty Wallace, who charged hard. He's back behind the wall. Harry Gant is already out of the race. Mark Martin up the front. Bill Elliott. Will any of these 5 be around at the left to collect anything more than the $1,500 Hard Charger award? Or will the Darrell Waltrip strategy prevail?
We'll know. It's 600 miles.
Well,
$800,000.
Please don't count Bill Elliott out, because he's also a thinker on a racetrack, a lot like Darrell Waltrip. He'll find some place to run comfortable, just drive the car at that speed. If it leads, fine. If it's in the middle, fine. But he takes care of his equipment. He'll be there.
His mother and dad watching back in Dawsonville, Georgia today, and of course the folks from the Dawsonville Pool Hall, that famed museum in Georgia for motorsports enthusiasts and particularly Elliott fans. Now rapt attention there. Look at this move on the inside as Bodine goes beneath Larry Pearson, and along comes Mark Martin right with him. They seem to sense that this may be their day of destiny. These two guys who started up in front have fought and clawed their way all through this game, putting a lap on Kyle Petty again. Here comes Kowicki. Alan Grice back on pit road another time in car number 47, and Martin now comes in car number 6. We're at lap 3:15, a little earlier than I had guesstimated they would be coming down. Here's tire marks on the side of that beautiful Jack Roush car. This means that Darrell Waltrip moves to second. That would put Schrader into third, Marlin into fourth, gives Bodine fifth, Elliott to sixth, Brett Bodine seventh.
See them stand around and waiting. They're waiting for gasoline in the car. That's really the slowest thing about a pit stop now, because the over-the-wall guys have gotten so fast that they have to wait on gasoline.
Back on the track comes car number 6. Mark Martin in early. Could be a little strategy move. Remember, didn't take on fuel in that last pit stop, did he? Here's car number 7 out in front. Kowicki leading. Let's see if we can gather an interval between that first and second place car, between number 7 Kowicki and 17 Waltrip.
Well, you know, Kowicki didn't pit either. You know, Martin stayed out, Kowicki stayed out, so I expect to see him having to come down pit road pretty soon.
The interval, I think, is a little about 3 8/10.
And see, Darrell should have better tires than Alan. Alan didn't come in and get tires where Darrell did, so Darrell's starting to run him down, and that's where the tires are starting to pay off now for Darrell, and Alan's are starting to go away. Of course, that evens back up.
Here's that interval. There's the 7 car, your leader, coming down to the line, and here's the 17 car running in second place, to give you an idea of where they're situated on the track. Ken Schrader stays third, Marlin fourth. Let's go back a little further. Neil Bonnet is 9th, Bobby Hillen is 10th, Ricky Rudd is in 11th, Rick Mast is now up to 12th, Derek Topin 13th, and Phil Parsons is in 14th. We'll be giving you a complete rundown on those on the track again in a little while. Let's go to a Phil Parsons car. Here he is, dipping, diving, darting around out there. Having a wonderful time.
Well, Phil Parsons, I still think that may be one of the stories of the race, to totally destroy a car in the last practice, stay up all night, rebuild it, come back. I tell you that's the Goodies Headache Award type thing right there.
14th. And now we're inside Dick Trickle's car, running with him. I think the leader may be getting ready to pit. Alan Grice is going back to the garage. Let's see if the number 7 car comes on pit road. Yep. Alan Kowicki coming in. They pitted on lap 257. The rest of the pack pitted on 275. Let's go to Chris.
Okay, they're checking the left side of the car. He's getting right side tires. Jetted fender, the left rear fender on Kowicki's car has got a nick in it. Just a fast stop. He's on his way, but don't forget he's got to come back one more time to get enough fuel to get to the checkered flag at 400 laps. Back to you, Ken.
Okay, Chris.
Ken, you notice there they did not wait for the fuel. As soon as the tires were changed, they dropped the jacks. They left. So the 6th car got more gas in the car than Kowicki. Kowicki probably got, probably 15 gallons in versus 20.
Well, they know at 321 laps that they've completed, and they know they have to stop again anyway, 481 miles. There has to be another stop no matter what. They just decided they'd cut that fuel off when they got the tires on and see if they could pick up a second or two.
Ken, what they're doing is adding their fuel mileage from the end of the race backwards. You can go 60 laps on a tank of gas, so all Alan needed to do was get to lap 440, knowing he'd have to stop after that, or to be able, 340. After that, he'd be able to go the distance, so one can.
That's the old determined engineer trick again.
Yeah.
Exactly, he's gone backwards on it.
That's tricky where smart people from Wisconsin could figure backwards. We have to go forward down here.
Hopefully. Here's your rundown, folks, for you following other competitors out here. This has been such a great race among that top 11 all day. It's just been remarkable for 600 miles. 323 laps, and again, we've had a total of 5 cautions. A couple were really minor occasions. The last one was for the car number 47, the Alan Greisman, a total of 27 laps under caution thus far in the day.
And just saw Rick Wilson's back out there riding around, so he did get his car back in the race.
Those other leaders should be preparing for pit stops, I would say, next 4 or 5 laps. As we watch Waltrip in the 17, doggedly holding on to second place, focusing his attention on car number 7 for the most part. That has been the one he's had to worry about all afternoon. Waltrip, let me correct that. Waltrip is now showing first with Kawicki having made that early stop. Schrader is in second. Marlin is in third.
Michael Waltrip's coming back out.
7 cars on the lead lap.
Bill Parsons down pit road for his pit stop.
You are. That's your 14th place car. 14th place for Phil Parsons. Good accounting for himself after the troubles he sustained yesterday.
Even with all you...
And at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, we're enjoying this great fight for the 3rd position on the track. Jeff Bodine, call that 4th position. Bodine in the number 5 car and Elliott in the 9. That is for 4th position. Sterling Marlin is in 3rd. Ken Schrader is in 2nd. Waltrip leading. Kawicki is back in 7th at this time. And there's number 4, Rick Wilson, back on the track after he took all that hard abuse up in turns 1 and 2, crashing into the wall. He brings his car back out onto the speedway.
From that side, you can see why he hit it so hard.
Number 4, Wilson, back on the track. Here's your leader, 17, Waltrip. Will he make it 5 in a row? And Dick Trickle back in the pits another time in car number 84 from the Stavola Racing Team. That's a 4-tire change taking place on Trickle's car.
A lot of times they know that they're sort of going to lose 1 lap, so they'll go ahead and change 4 tires and know that they're not going to lose 2, so that gives them a small advantage over the cars that only took 2 tires.
Here's Dick Trickle coming back onto the track. Battle for 4th position, Bodine and Elliott. .332 laps complete.
The 10th place car, Bobby Hillen Jr. coming down pit road.
Second of the Stavola cars. There is separation so we can get on top of each other on pit road. Waltrip stays first, Schrader second, and Sterling Marlin, outstanding run in 3rd. Here they are lapping Rick Wilson, those cars in 4th and 5th position. Bodine to 5, Elliott to 9.
The 6th place car, Brett Bodine, we've not called him a lot. He's coming down pit road, and they've had an excellent day.
Brett Bodine coming in. That'll move Alan Kawicki up a notch. He'll go into the 6th position. Alan Kawicki now up to 6th. Let's take a look at the finish today in the Indianapolis 500, the 73rd annual this afternoon. Emerson Fittipaldi of Brazil, the winner. Al Unser Jr. in a real confrontation toward the finish. Emerson wins it. Bozell, also from Brazil, finished in 3rd today. Emerson, former world champion in Formula One, wins Indy.
And Emerson is such a nice gentleman. He really is, and he's done it all in motorsports. But I tell you, I'm so excited for A.J. Foyt to finish 5th because that's his home territory, that's his track, and it's really neat for the sport.
Bodine, pit road, par 5 in that 4th position as he rolls in. That'll move Elliott up to 4th. It'll move Kawicki into 5th. throw those gas tanks in there over there.
They really do. That's the Waddell Wilson prepared car, and Waddell, one of the legends in motorsports, and they're just so good week in and week out.
So Bodine back to the fray at 336 laps down. Waltrip staying out. Schrader stays second. Darrell Waltrip, when you're riding at Charlotte for 600 miles, what goes through your mind?
A lot of things go on in your mind, not just every now and then, but lap after lap after lap. You're thinking, maybe I ought to put a couple rounds in the left rear. Maybe I believe I'll change that stagger about an 1/8 inch. Well, they need to get me a little more air in here. It's hot in here. Golly, boy, my foot's burning. I got to find another place to lay that foot. I'm going to have a blister on the back of my heel there in a minute. Just those kind of things. Now, I can't see. My windshield's getting all messed up. What's wrong with them guys in the pits? They ain't cleaning my windshield good enough. I'm running how slow? You got to be kidding. I mean, this just goes on and on and on. And, you know, it's 4.5 hours of fun and games, I guess you'd say.
The fun and games are over for Greg Sachs in number 88. He has tagged the wall. There is no caution out. He's ridden the whole back straightaway up against the wall, and now he's trying to thread his way down onto pit road.
I tell you, there should be a caution thrown here. This is absolutely ridiculous. He's sitting out there limping along.
Caution is coming out. He's run all the way down the back straightaway through turns 3 and 4.
I mean, if that's not a caution, you
may have some parts coming off that car too. Caution is out. That's at lap 339. That happened almost out of turn 2. He went all the way down the backstretch, and you can see he could get himself into a fire here if he hasn't already, showing a lot of sparks from beneath Sachs' car, and he could not get on pit road. 339 laps complete. Waltrip has stayed out. This is to his advantage. Schrader stays second, so the Rick Hendrick Racing Stable has cars first and second, Marlin in third, Kowicki in fourth, Bodine in fifth, and Elliott in sixth. With yellow out on the track, the pit road is closed at this moment. Here's that 88 trying to limp back to the pits. Here's Chris Economaki.
Well, this yellow flag couldn't have come at a worse time for everybody but Darrell Waltrip. He's the only driver in the race that's getting 60 laps out of a tank full of fuel. And when he stops, there'll be 60 laps remaining. Everybody else that needs fuel would rather have had this come 10 laps later. Back to you, Ken.
Well, Chris, one thing that's happening here is that with this car resting where it now is, it's going to need some assistance coming in. We may not see some of those other cars quite as anxious to pull on pit road immediately, or they may come in and then come a second time on pit road to top those tanks. Field is in the back straightaway. Dale Jarrett has just retired, car number 29. We'll be back with more of the action from Charlotte momentarily.
7:45.
Tried to come down pit road. It got onto the pit road, tried to make it into its own pit area, and lost it, scooted right through and rests under the Union 76 ball at the end of pit road, so it's going to take a bit more time here. Now he pulls it back and brings it to a halt, but it could not stop when it came into the pits. Greg Sachs having some terrible problems with the Danny Schiff Buddy Baker car.
The caliper just exploded right in front of Richard Petty's crew, and he had no brakes at that point, so he just let it drift on down.
All right, let's go for a Goodyear update on racing around America. Says Andretti coming down for the finish like that.
I don't believe you pay back in those cars
I
going
never
that
thought you
fast.
did before, but that sure looked like they were really running for position out there in Indy today. Wild finish.
They probably thought they had fenders on them for a second or something like our guys. That's normal for us, but those open wheel things, boy,
scary
if you touch.
Stuff.
Woo.
343 of 400 laps are now complete. Waltrip stays in first. Sterling Marlin is in second place. Great effort by this second-generation driver, son of the old alfalfa farmer from Columbia, Tennessee, who ranked as one of the best in this category of American racing for some 15, 17 years. Sterling Marlin, star at the old Nashville Fairgrounds for years, having a great day here at Charlotte, resting second. Here's the picture. With that caution coming when it did, several cars having gone and many more out, That leaves us with 4 cars in the lead lap or 5. Leaves us with 5 cars in the lead lap. Back to Bodine. Here's the situation. Waltrip would be first, Sterling Marlin second, Schrader third, Kowicki fourth, Bodine fifth. Martin goes a lap down. He'll be fighting to get his lap back immediately, and so does Bill Elliott in 7th. Mike Joy.
Rusty Wallace has joined us in the STP Pit Communications Center. Not the place where you'd like to spend these last 100 laps, I'm sure.
Well, no, not really. We had we evidently broke a valve spring today, and our team's really struggling with valve spring problems. We're leading Atlanta and broke one, leading Martinsville and broke one. Now we broke another one today. So
after last Sunday's race, the Winston, what was the reception like today in driver introductions?
It was pretty good. I thought it was 50-50. You know, I was a little bit concerned about it, but there was 50% Wallace fans and 50% Waltrip fans, and so that's it.
Who do you like in this one?
Well, I gotta honestly say I like Alan Kowicki. You know, I mean, I think he's got a good shot to win the race. I haven't seen Waltrip all day long, and he's up there, I guess, right now.
But he did that last year. We didn't see him all day long.
Yeah, he did that last year. He's kind of like that. He just kind of plays around back there and all of a sudden comes back up there. But as far as a hard charge and a guy can really get the job done without piddling around like some other cars did, I'm going to choose Allen because he's got a good shot at it.
We're about to find out. Ken?
345 laps complete. 517 miles of 600 down when they come by this time. From Phil Parsons' outlook, here's how it is at the start. Crowd coming to its feet.
Ken, we got something great happen. The 5 cars up in the top lane, 1 lap down. The 9 car, 1 lap down. And they were able to get up front to try to get their laps back. So if they can get out front and catch a caution, they could get back in the lead lap. They're going to be racing hard because this is critical now.
The 5 car is on the tail end of the lead lap, so he starts right in front of Waltrip, but they put a lap immediately on car number 9, Bill Elliott, going down the back straightaway.
This is a perfect place to show you the team cars of Rick Hendricks, and you watch how fast Darrell Waltrip tries to put that 5
put a lap on his teammate.
Down a lap. And that shows you that there's no home cooking this group, because here I come, baby. I want Rick to like me better than you.
Here's car number 17, Waltrip, doing just that.
He came awful close to making contact, too. That would have been a show.
Waltrip in command, going for his 5th win of this race.
Watch
and here
Bodine
comes
come
Bodine.
back.
Now remember, Bodine has just been put 1 lap down. 25, Schrader is the 2nd place car. Here's Schrader to the bottom of the racetrack. So Rick Hendrick has 3 cars in your picture right here. The 17, the 5, the 25. Here's Elliott coming back to speed, trying to get his lap back. 347 laps complete. 53 to go. Schrader into 2nd clean.
Okay, Darrell Waltrip is he is our leader. Kenny Schrader, the 25 car, is 2nd. Sterling Marlin, the 94 car, is 3rd. Alan Kowicki, the 7 car, is 4th.
And there they are. So you have 3 Hendrick cars right up there in the top of the picture. 2 running for the lead, 1 running back in 5th. But watch the 94 of Sterling Marlin, the blue, white, and yellow car, and the number 7 of Kowicki. Kowicki's got to do some running here. He doesn't want to have Waltrip run off and get lost out here at this point. This is where Waltrip really likes to ramble, and Kowicki needs to cut him down.
Well, we felt like the cutoff, by our figuring, everyone should have to make another stop. The cutoff was at 3:45, and we took the green at 3:43, so it may be one of those gambles again. They say Waltrip can go all the way, and the rest of the people have to pit. So if it stays green, Darrell Waltrip's outgassed them again.
76 miles to the finish from here. Remember, we got 12 laps more out of Waltrip's car?
Yes.
We saw him at the very beginning of the race. Here's Elliott to the bottom. There you see the Mark Martin car now being shown a lap down in 7th place.
And Darrell is just pulling off. He's done a great job. And here's the balance.
Bodine back in 5th. He has fallen 1 lap down to that leader, Darrell Waltrip. Most cars went 51 laps per stop today. Darrell went 62. That's the teller.
And a lot of times people say, well, how can he get that much better gas mileage? Well, there's a lot of things you can do to motors and gears and transmissions and those sort of things that will give you better gas mileage.
Randy Dorton.
So Randy Dorton has come up with the system.
There's the battle. It's second place.
So Randy Dorton, living in Harry Hyde's trailer for 2 years, I think was his PhD in motorsports.
25, Schrader staying second. Here's 94 challenging. Sterling Marlin coming to the inside. Marlin senses this could be his day. Schrader standing in his way to charge up there and go after Waltrip. Here he comes to the inside. 94, Sterling Marlin. No holding back now. You've got to go for it. To the line. It's Sterling Marlin from Tennessee on the outside. Missouri's Ken Schrader, high side of the racetrack. And here comes Alan Kowicki from Wisconsin in the 7 car back into this race.
You see Alan drop by, and he's just going to wait and see who gets by who, because this is where you can get in trouble, because both of these guys are very aggressive. Schrader got around a little bit, so Alan's going to follow him and think the high side will get a better jump off the turn.
Ooh, they touched for just a second.
Room. So that didn't work, so he thinks, well, maybe I'll jump behind Sterling. Maybe he'll get underneath him.
Look at Schrader, just not giving in. Stays right there, but Marlin hangs with him. Kowicki coming in underneath. Back straight away, Schrader right back on it again.
Boy, it just didn't get any better than this. A 600-mile race. We've had great racing all day.
Just lifts a little going into 3. Just barely cracking the pedal. Now into it hard out of turn 4. Slippery racetrack.
Smoke
side by side.
Tires.
Yeah. Here they are back to the line.
If you're Alan Kowicki right now, you go with the man you think you can beat. If he goes with Schrader, it's because he thinks once they get clear of Sterling Marlin, he's got a better chance to pass Kenny by himself.
Lap car up in front of the Mike Waltrip. Let's see who's going to give ground here going into the corner. Marlin all the way back. Here comes Kowicki bouncing up through the middle. Rick Wilson down low, and it is Kowicki in car number 7 relentlessly pursuing those Rick Hendrick cars. He's back into it. Consistent laps all day, smooth and even and hard. He just hasn't backed out of that car, and he's still getting great performance. Back straightaway. Schrader stays right there on the high side. Long way around the racetrack, but using it well. Stays in second. Alan Kowicki with him. And they don't want to get into it. They just want to fight it out. Here comes Kowicki back down again. Kowicki touches car number 25.
Did you see Kowicki's car quivered right before they touched? There they go again. So Kenny says, I'll run you to the infield if you run me to the wall.
Car number 7, Kowicki going for second spot.
Schrader's not going to like this, so he's going to really come after him.
Here he
see
comes.
Him jump.
Fantastic racing in the final moments of the 30th annual. What a great stock car classic.
Schrader, that's old sprint car driver. He's not afraid of contact.
Meanwhile, up in front, it remains Darrell Waltrip. We'll be back with more of the exciting 30th annual Coca-Cola 600 on the Superstation shortly.
Alan Ladd has his own
out, and you see him sitting there in the smoking room at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Car number 84 having its problems late in the going. This is one of the toughest drivers we've ever seen on the North American stock car circuit, and he is in big trouble. Let's go to Mike.
I think the motor just left it.
Well, something did, John. They had an oil cooler problem earlier. It got blocked. They had to replace it, and they may have either a hose problem, but from here it looks like that's coming out the exhaust pipe, and that's an internal engine problem.
Looks like he may be coming in. That number 66 that you saw going by him, there's been a driver replacement on the Rick Mass car today. Jim Sauter. Here's the 84 car coming in as it expires at lap 362. Meanwhile, that battle between 7 and 25 is unrelenting. Here they are for second position. Schrader back around Kowicki. And they are running about 20, 30 car lengths behind the leader, Darrell Waltrip. It continues to be this even Steven between this pair. Alan Kowicki back to the inside, drives underneath, and he brings car number 94 with him. Kowicki getting a pace car is out. Caution is on. Caution is on. And apparently
We had an oil down from car number 84, Trickle. Here's the break they were looking for, John. This is all those leaders need to gather themselves back up and make a drive to the finish. This comes at lap 363, 544 miles complete. Alan Kulwicki, what's your strategy for surviving in this 600-mile race?
You're never really just cruising out there. You're running pretty hard, but you do have to take care of your car, take care of your tires. And so there's a certain pace you set for yourself. I wouldn't call it cruising or stroking, but you don't run every lap wide open.
Every lap, and it's been every lap today all the way. Here are the leaders all coming in. Let's go to Steve Burns.
I just spoke with Billy Engel, one of the mechanics. He said that Alan says the car is a little bit loose. That means the back end wants to come around. As they lose fuel, the car should tighten up. They go to the right side and change tires, so we'll see at the end of the pit stop the final result is.
All the leaders will be in a bunch, thundering to the finish here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Let's get Chris Economaki.
Well, the interesting part about these pit stops, they're not necessary for a lot of the crew members, but they know that they have to rebuild the car, as Bobby Allison used to say, with fresh tires in the right setting so it can be absolutely au point, as they say in French, on the point for the run to the checkered flag. When everybody goes back out there and that green flag goes down, all the cars will have fresh tires and be ready for the day. Back to you.
364 laps complete, just 36 to go. This is going to be contested right to the check circuit. Currently running first in this race is Darrell Waltrip. He's seen one dream come true, a victory in the Daytona 500. With that goal accomplished, now his attention is on.
Been with the Hendrick teams and the Tide people, and this is our year to really show what we've learned and what we can do.
What he's learned, what he can do, comes down to this: the final moments of the 30th annual 600. Darrell Waltrip, who could win some $3 million in 1989 on the Winston Cup Tour. He says his greatest fear is what the sanctioning body can do to control the sport when that much money is on the line. He experienced a little of that a week ago. He keeps saying, can they control the competitors? It's going to take some control here by everybody. Here's Bodine trying to come back to the inside and get that lap back. Bodine trying to accomplish the tough road to get back in that lead lap. Alan Kulwicki riding in second spot. Sterling Marlin is third. Schrader is fourth. They are in the lead lap. There are 368 laps complete of the 400 to be run. 552 miles down. Kulwicki goes way to the high side as he takes that Ford around Bodine. The 5 car just a tad squirrely as he came out of 4 in 94. Sterling Marlin moves around in the Oldsmobile for third spot.
I just asked Darrell Waltrip's crew chief, Jeff Hammond, who he is concerned with the most, and he held up 7 fingers. Back to you.
Every reason for concern. Here comes Kulwicki. He's clearly into second spot, and the Ford is now trying to run the Chevy down. 370 laps complete, just 30 to go, and they cross the line this time. 27 cars of the 42 that started still running in the $800,000 Coca-Cola 600 as we get down, and there goes Marlin underneath Kulwicki easily.
I saw smoke come out of Kulwicki's car. I think he might have lost the motor. I saw smoke right as he made his move. I think Alan just lost the motor. That's a shame.
Alan Kulwicki slowing down in car number 7. The pace finally catches up with car number 7.
The crew standing on the wall looking for him to come in, but I don't think it was a cut tire. I saw a puff of smoke, and I'm afraid that's what it was. I think Alan's through for the day. Yeah, he's coming down very slowly. He'll probably make that left turn.
Alan Kulwicki, the first driver as a team owner who led the Winston Cup point standing since James Hilton back in 1971, will not finish this race.
That's got to be a lonely turn because Charlotte's his hometown now, and he came so close.
Alan Kulwicki, who has said this doesn't have to be a rich man's sport. Not easy, but you can start at the bottom and work yourself up. Let's hope he has a big payday soon. 17, Darrell Waltrip stays in front, and the man contending with him now is the Olds driver, Sterling Marlin.
And I'll tell you what, Sterling Marlin is running him down. And I'll tell you what, Sterling Marlin in his Oldsmobile, and Oldsmobiles have run great here. Harry Gant ran good in his, and Sterling will drive the wheels off of it, and if it comes to being aggressive, he'll be aggressive.
And, of course, these two have faced off at the old Nashville Fairgrounds. They've run each other pretty hard there on occasion years ago. Let's see what happens here. There you see the interval, first to second. Incredible race, 373 laps in the book of 400. Waltrip, now Marlin. And let's not count out Ken Schrader. Schrader's so determined to have a great day. His best finish this year was second to Waltrip at Daytona in the season opener back in February. Waltrip beginning to build that kind of record for which Richard Petty was known. Petty winning Daytona 7 times. Here's Waltrip leading today, trying to stretch the 600 into a new place. 5 wins. There's his wife, Stevie. Their daughter here today, being attended to by the grandparents. Here's number 94, continuing to take that major win that has eluded Sterling Marlin. Comes back by Marlin, closing again. Picks up another car length as they come down the main straightaway. This is good.
One thing about Darrell Waltrip, a lot of people don't know, he has the neatest father. He worked his whole career. Leroy is one of the neatest men, and he's low profile, and you wouldn't know he was anybody except one of the guys. And he has 2 sons in Winston Cup, but he's beautiful.
Remember that car number 6 is a lap down. Trying to get a lap back here on the inside is Mark Martin. Ken Schrader is in 3rd spot, and you're watching Martin trying to take a lap back from him. He's got a lot more running to do to catch up with them.
I think Kenny's car's gotten a little bit loose, and
the 9 car a lap down.
And the 6 car did just drive right under him.
That is the battle for 4th, right there. You see the 5 and the 9 scrambling for 4th position.
Didn't I say when this race started that toward the end it'd probably be about 3 or 4 cars in the lead lap, and Darrell Waltrip would disappear halfway through and then just drive right on to victory? How do I know that stuff?
Oh, I don't know. 377 laps are complete of 400 as Darrell Waltrip continues to lead with Sterling Marlin 2nd, Ken Schrader 3rd, Bodine 4th, Elliott 5th.
3 cars in the lead lap.
Waltrip and Marlin with 17 laps to go in the 600. Alan Kowicki, his 4th effort, was a magnificent try, but it came up short. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Alan, this has to be one of the hardest interviews you've done in quite a while. What a heartbreak.
Well, I'm disappointed, but we ran so good, and we really deserved to win this race, and the Xerox AC Ford Thunderbird was probably the best handling car out on the racetrack. We only had 1 guy left to beat, and we were catching him, and the motor blew, so that's just too bad. We'll have to come back another day.
Thank you, Alan.
Great competitor. Alan Kowicki, a year ago 3rd. This year, after leading 137 laps in the 30th annual 600, just that much shy. Rusty Wallace can tell you about that. So many other people that have come so close. Phil Parsons nearly won this race at one occasion. It's a toughie. Here's Brett Bodine about to go another lap down, and closing ground is Sterling Marlin. Boy, he's taken the bit in his teeth, and he's running. 94, Sterling Marlin pulling up on Waltrip, not giving an inch. Schrader stays 3rd, and a great battle continues for 4th place. 1 lap down, Jeff Bodine and Bill Elliott continue their own struggle. There you see them, 4th and 5th. Bodine and Elliott, what a great race they've had today. Mark Martin stays 6th, Neil Bonnet 7th, Brett Bodine is 8th, Bobby Hillen's Buick is 9th, Derek Cope has come up to 10th, Ricky Rudd is in 11th, Sauter replacing Rick Mast in the 66 is 12th, Phil Parsons is now 13th, Hut Strickland is 14th, Ernie Urban is 15th today.
And Derek Cope just came down pit road for right side tire change.
Well, here you have a battle between a couple of giants up in front. One who has yet to record his first win, but he's proven himself on the short tracks of American stock car racing, particularly in the Southeast, and Darrell Waltrip. If Waltrip wins, that'll be the 6th time someone has won from his starting position in this race.
One thing we haven't talked a lot about is the Winston Million. Darrell Waltrip wins this race,
Darlington?
He'll go to Darlington. If he wins Darlington, he wins $1 million.
Waltrip started fourth in today's race. But Sterling Marlin is the man of the hour as he continues to try to search him out, hunt him down, and catch him. Bet Bodine going a lap down to that fourth place battle.
Now, who would the Winston people be pulling for now?
No.
$1 million is a lot of money, and Darrell, he would be tough with it, right?
Back up front, the interval stays the same, just about. 17 in first. It's less than a second between first and second. 388 laps now complete. Sterling Marlin has a couple of second place finishes to his credit in Winston Cup racing. He's never won it. He came here first in 1979. His closest was 7th in 1986. Waltrip stays in front. Waltrip already has won more money at Charlotte than anyone else in $466,000. Bobby Allison second in that category at $432,000. Look at Waltrip just easing that car through its paces. 389 complete. There'll be 10 to go this time by. Wonder what those pit crews are saying to those drivers right now. Probably not very much.
No, I think everybody's just sitting there being real quiet and saying, hold on, baby.
There you see Darrell Waltrip's folks counting off those laps, seeing him lead.
You would have never dreamed that the Jeff Hammond, Darrell Waltrip combination would have been so strong. Jeff was hand-trained by Junior Johnson, and he really learned his lesson, and Darrell learned a lot from Junior, and there they both are together. They work well together, and boy, they're a tough combination.
Darrell Waltrip first at Daytona, first at Rockingham, first at Martinsville this year, second at Bristol, fifth at Talladega, continuing to lead here. Off to one of the best. He has great finishes to a year, but this is the best start to a year I can ever recall for Waltrip. 165 and 0.2 miles per hour last time around.
And that's running almost as fast as we were running at the first of the race.
Anxious Jeff Hammond looking on, speaking to Darrell Waltrip right now. And there's the crew chief for Sterling Marlin looking on. Getting down to the finish of this one. I'll tell you what.
Ken, the transmission in Darrell Waltrip's car wasn't even built Friday noon. Not that they're casual about it or that they were late. They learned something in the Winston and during practice about restarts, so experimented with some new intermediate gears. Don't even think they had a chance to run it in. But that's the way this team operates. When they make a decision, they're confident that what they do will go the distance. It happened at Daytona, and it looks like it's about to happen here.
393 laps complete. Meanwhile, in fourth position, Bodine is still there with that Hendrick Chevrolet. And the Ford rumbles and grumbles right behind him, trying to find a little running room. Bill Elliott looking for extra dollars here today. 6 laps to go, and they come by this time. Waltrip stays in front. That lead of his seeming to build just a little here. Will it hang together? Think of Kowicki. Think of those who tried and run so well all day and had it come up a dollar shy.
I think this would be the worst time for Jeff and Darrell, because, you know, Rusty last year, year before, had this thing won and broke with 6 laps to go. You're just listening to sounds, hearing things, just hoping now that the car will hold together, because Sterling's not catching him now. He's holding his advantage.
And with Earnhardt out of the race midway, Waltrip will really move up in those standings. He came into this battle second in the Winston Cup standings. 17 years he's been running. You have to go some to think when he's had a season start like this. Rick Hendricks has had one previous winner in the 600 1 year ago. This man, this car.
When Darrell comes by this time, he'll have 4 laps to go. Stevie looks like she's relaxed and having fun.
Darrell has compared the first couple of years over at Hendrick Motorsports to Earnhardt with Richard Childress. He says, I'm hoping that we get through all our problems, get those things behind us, and this is our year. Looks like it's off to just the kind of year that could take him to another championship. Won it 3 times. Notice that advantage seems to be gathering a little more in Waltrip's favor. Interval building in favor of Waltrip. Schrader staying third. 1 2/10 seconds. So he's built up a little bit of an advantage as we get down to the finish. And Darrell Waltrip comes in here like Babe Ruth today. He called his shot before it started.
Yeah, and another thing, let's don't lose sight, because Sterling Marlin, it appears now, is looking at second. What a great run Sterling's had all day, drove his heart out, and he's going to get him one.
Remember what he said? He won the Daytona 500. He said, it took me 18 years to have my daughter Jessica Lee. It took me 17 years to win the Daytona 500. I guess I'm slow, but at least diligent. He's been very diligent today. A couple of laps to go. And Waltrip will once again taste victory. The first man to win this 600 4 times, if it all hangs together from here. Darrell Waltrip singling out those final moments. Getting down toward the finish. 77th career win could be coming up right here as the white flag comes out. 1 to go. Sterling Marlin gets my vote today. What a hard charge he has put on all day. 5th 5 times in the 600, 4 times a winner. Incredible mark by Waltrip in this event. Here he is ready to lap Larry Pearson once again.
Bill Elliott and Mark Martin are running side by side. Looks like Mark Martin, they're going to race it right to the line.
And that is a good battle, as Bodine is pulled away in 4th, and Martin is challenging Elliott for the stripe. Coming down for the checkers, it is Darrell Waltrip for the 5th time. And there is a little bit of a slide coming to the line by Mark Martin, and across the stripe it'll be number 9, Bill Elliott for 5th. Bodine will finish in 4th today. Ken Schrader will be 3rd. And it will be Sterling Marlin for 2nd position, but it's all Waltrip.
Look at that shot of that pit crew. Now, they're not, this looks like the fight last week, but no, they're all celebrating. They're throwing each other up in the air. Just as much contact here as there was last week.
A lot of emotion and love and war. $9 million he had won coming into today. Jeff Hammond on the radio to Darrell Waltrip, reminding him where Victory Lane is at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 5th time he's won it. 1978, 1979, 85, 88, and now in 1989. It is Darrell Waltrip, victorious in the 600. The disappointment witnessed just 1 week ago. Look at the enthusiastic joy being shown for car number 17 in the victory circle here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for Darrell Waltrip, the first man to win the 600 4 times. Just about ready to clamber out of the car, and let's go to Chris Economy.
Well, we're down here in an absolute traffic jam. Darrell Waltrip looks like he's getting ready to go to a prom. He's sitting there. He looks calm. He looks cool. He's brushed his hair. He's put on his bright chapeau. He's got a little towel around his neck. Well, I was talking to Stevie. Stevie, you worked hard all day today, didn't you?
Well, I feel like I did. I just praise God for letting us be a part of this victory and his victory. We just are so grateful.
Were you ever worried during the day that you might not make it?
Well, I mean, in the beginning, you don't even think about it. You just kind of are planning and you lay back, and you've always got that hope. But when it got down to the last 100 laps, I knew we had an excellent chance if we could just hang in there and finish.
Well, you did a great job. Maybe go in there and talk to the old man. You know, it's time to get out and go to work, Darrell. Pardon me. Pardon me. What's going on here? Hey, are we in on a family affair here? You're not finished, Darrell. Your work at the Charlotte Speedway this Sunday's not over with yet.
You got to do my dance.
Got to do his dance, okay. He's going to do his dance now. That's the Waltrip shuffle here, all right? No music. He's doing it a cappella. How do you have the vitality to do that after 600 miles?
Well, these boys here behind me do it all. They just made it easy.
We introduced you this morning as determined Darrell Waltrip.
That's me.
And I'll tell you something. I saw you make 4 consecutive pit stops with a broken race car, and here you are in victory lane. What was the problem there? How long had it prevailed before you got it fixed?
I don't know how long. A pretty good while, but just Jeff and Sandy and Eddie and everybody, they just do it. I tell them what's wrong, they fix it. That's what it takes. A driver communicating with his crew. Praise the Lord for getting us here today.
Are you aware of the ramifications of today's victory? You got $100,000 for winning, a bonus for winning, and if you win at Darlington, you know what that means?
That means I might be the Winston Cup champion.
And an extra $1 million.
You know, a million here, a million there. What's a million?
Right. Okay, how are you feeling, Joe? Your uniform is pretty wet. It must have been a tough series, but a tough day.
First of all, Chris, let me just say I want to thank Chevrolet for building us this great new race car, this Lumina, and Goodyear for providing us with the tires. But most of all, people, Pride and Tide, T-I-D-E, #1.
Okay.
What else you want to know, Chris?
Oh, there's your check over there, Dal.
You know, the funny thing about all this, the bigger the numbers get, the smaller the print gets. I wonder what that means.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that you know how to spend it, Dal.
Might need some gas, right?
Exactly.
I'm real happy for my family and for Rick Hendrick. He's the greatest car owner. He gave me every opportunity to put this team together, and I hope we're repaying him a little bit now. A lot of people that stuck behind us for a couple of years there when everybody said Waltrip was washed up. He may be, but he's got him in spin now.
You should be washed up with your sponsor, but you're not. What about Kowicki? Had he stayed in, would he have been a handful?
Chris, I saved the car so bad today, it was incredible. I did badly. Let me correct my English. So badly today that it was incredible. I only run what I had to run, and I did that at the end. Like we planned, it's easy to get rattled out of your game plan, but when we sit down and make a decision and we stick to it, we're in victory circle, and we know that. And it's just a compliment to all my people. They're doing a great job. They believe in me. And we're having great success, and the Lord's He's smiling on us, and that means a lot. And this certainly makes up for that measly $200,000 that they paid last week.
There you go. Well, congratulations again, Darrell Waltrip, and back to you, Ken Squire.
And again, we'll be talking with Alan Kowicki as well as Sterling Marlin when we return to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, where Darrell Waltrip has won the 30th Coca-Cola 600.